That's
Hey,
fair.
Belly.
Or no,
Belly,
sorry.
if
25
you
out of 400.
Belly, if you start up and populate a wiki for us, I will send you a mini for free.
Bro.
Ooh.
Does he get to choose the mini?
Sure, anything up to size large.
Dang.
Wow.
The challenge has been issued. The gauntlet has been slapped.
You slap gauntlets? I thought you throw them down.
Well, don't you like when you're challenging someone, you smack them across the face like you backhand them?
It
Isn't that the
depends
thing
on
with the glove?
Sometimes you just
depends
throw
on
it on
the
the ground.
A wiki, you say. Belly, if you want help with that,
Wiki.
I have a very, very sizable Notion database. I can go through and, as you're getting to different things, let me know and I can give you the spoiler-less
The lowdown.
versions of those things. In fact, my Notion database is so big that it's approaching like maximum allowable for the free plan of Notion.
God, it's over maximum allowance.
Maximum allowability.
We also, have an audio record of everything.
That's true.
True.
There is also a
Hello.
podcast. Hey, yeah, our faces are on the screen now, along with this
Hi.
bopping music.
I'm so far away. Why? Other hand. Why?
I'm gonna
So close, yet so
Eat my-
far away.
We
vitamin gummies so that way I'm super powerful for this.
The most astute of our chat may notice that Jake is not with us tonight. He has a family emergency going on. We wish him all the best. I think it's like an emergency that's been taken care of. He just has to go and help, like, take people. And so I don't think there's anything urgently wrong anymore. But he is busy with his family tonight. So
He's shuttling all of his loved ones onto the Ark.
that's right. Yeah.
So, yeah, like if you didn't get a ticket, then you get to hang out with us tonight and play some D&D.
Yeah, if you're with us and you're just finding out about it now, you're too late. You're
That
too
was
late.
too
The
late.
tickets are already sold. They've even resold the tickets. Like people bought the tickets and resold them and resold them.
Yeah, even the
It's so
scalpers are
dire
all
that we
stopped.
say reselled now. We don't care about grammar.
Yeah.
This is always all good.
That's how close
What
to
are
the end
words?
we are. This is the end.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
This is
enjoy
the end
enjoy your
of
last moments with
world
us.
as
We're
I
happy
know
you're
it.
here.
We are happy you're here. So I figured we would start by just literally recapping what happened at the end of the last session. When we have sessions that are so high tension, like the past few ones have been, I prefer to just start by literally reminding you what happened. So here's the audio of the podcast that came out today from last Friday's session. Just the
You and
last
the
couple
captain can
minutes.
recap what happens.
That's right. Yeah, you can also use the recap command, but that's like a very, very short summary. This is a little bit longer than that. This is like just a short summary. That's like a very short summary. See how they're different? Okay. Anyway, here we go.
No.
Alan got a 26. Alan rears up with the great axe and just boom, slams it down on the sigil. The whole chunk that he's in, an eighth of it disappears, and in your hand, the great axe splinters into pieces.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Hand of Coal and have it erupt out of because it's constructed out of the ground, have it erupt out of the ground of one of the sigils and smash down on one of the other ones.
Perfect. One of them is definitely disfigured. Roll strength to disfigure the next.
I rolled 11 strength to try to disfigure another one with steel as I'm giant.
Okay, you and Fox work together, or you and Zoth work together to get the first one that he's doing disabled.
Okay.
3 have been broken so far. Jeb is rolling strength to attempt to break a fourth of the 8. Listeners,
got a
1 minute and
19.
22 seconds remain. With your 19, you break a
Rolled a
fifth.
9 on a second.
Okay, you are
roll
not able
attack.
to disfigure the next part of the sigil, and the energy is starting to melt through your
Nat
mace.
20 to
Okay.
Nat 20. You are able to break the 6th piece of the sigil. There's 1 minute on the clock, listeners. You're able to break
Alan
the
is
6th piece of
Do I
the
have
sigil.
Alan is
time to move
pulling
my
out
hand and do
his.
it again?
It's not attuned yet, but he's pulling out the
14
scimitar of speed
to disfigure
and
another.
attempting to use that.
Okay. Between
I
Alan's...
can move the hand.
Yep. Between Alan's Scimitar of Speed and Fox, you are able to break the 7th, and then the hand breaks the 8th. Garlel is free, but immediately falls unconscious to the ground. So now there's just a dragon laying there with the Sphere of Annihilation 38
I'm gonna
seconds
grab
away.
him.
You've got to find a way to move
I'm gonna
him.
grab
casting
him as
Cure
a
Wounds.
giant
I'm
as he's
casting
doing
Cure
that. I'm
Wounds
gonna
on
grab
him.
him as a giant and drag him out of the way.
Great. And between the two of you, you cure his wounds and he wakes up, feebly using
He heals 12.
his draconic legs to help scratch to the side as Fox helps him, pulling him to the side, and you drag Garlel, Avatar of Gamteus, God of Chaos, out of the sigils where he was bound, just as, I kid you not, listeners, the final 10 seconds of the Sphere of Annihilation, you can feel the heat and the sizzling energy as it moves towards where you were. It like singes little bits of cloth off of your clothes as you pull Garlel to the side, but you do safely get him out of the line of fire of the Sphere of Annihilation as it gets to its final resting place at the center of the tower, or the center of the sigil where Garlel was, and eats through the base of the tower and just stops, winks out of existence. The lever itself remains untouched.
That was too close.
Panting from the exertion of helping Fox and Zothkug move Garlel out of the way of the Sphere of Annihilation, Owlin drops to one knee, like just catching his breath, and you realize that in the like exertion, he's gone completely hoarse from screaming out commands and helping move him and raging and all those things. His voice is just completely shot, and so he isn't really even able to say anything. He just looks over at you guys and gives you like this shaky thumbs up, like we did it. And kind of sits down, crosses his legs, and like immediately just starts resting and drinking out of a water skin. He drinks one down, he pulls out a second one and drinks that down, but his throat is still very hoarse. You may not hear him speak tonight, listeners, because he's so hoarse, not because he's not here.
I just pat him on the back and just say, thumbs up, man. Good job. You did great.
Yeah, give him a good clap on the shoulder. Whichever one hurts more. But not too hard.
What are you guys doing? You're in this room at the very bottom of the Eos Lore Foundation Tower, the base of the library. There's a big furrow carved through, like a nice smooth ramp leading down to where you are, 5 stories of library. Garlel is unconscious next to you. Oh no, he's not. He's just woken up, so he's stable and very weak next to you. Owlin is resting. We're chilling. You know, what's going on?
I guess.
I'm just waiting for him, honestly. Like, I don't want to bother him. He seems kind of tired too. But I'm just like in awe. Like, I can't stop staring at him. So I'm just like looking up, like jaw open.
I don't want to leave him either. Like, we just rescued him and he's just standing there. Like, I feel like I should say something. Like, you're welcome. I don't know what to say, man. I'm sorry. Like.
The black dragon, size category gigantic, looks over at you. It swings its head around like in Desolation of Smaug, where it's like just the head is right next to you and its eye is peering down at you, and it seems to wink. And then it very slowly begins to morph and shrink. And as it does, you can see like the details that you missed before, the missing scales and the scars and the kind of like crusted gore from it being entrapped and tortured. It all starts to shrink and slim down until he's transformed back into his human form. With his deep blue suit, the same one that Owlin described to you in his memory of the ALF tower. He's standing upright, barely. He's kind of swaying back and forth, but he's standing upright, and he kind of brushes off his suit. He puts on a pair of sunglasses that dim and like darken and brighten depending on the light. So he like spins a little dial, and they like open up to normal lightness. He looks over at you and he goes, "Thank you. This is most unfortunate, but I am so grateful for your assistance. I'm sorry that you find me so weakened, or I would repay you."
We're sorry for the damage to your building.
Honestly, I'm surprised you pulled yourself together like that. I mean, you look pretty good in the suit, not gonna lie.
Yeah, you're dressing pretty sharp there, sir.
Thanks. Yes, I believe first impressions are very important. And he holds up his hand, and in it a mug appears, and he just like takes a drink from the mug, and it's just like normal water. Like, he's still clearly very weak, but he's starting to like recover himself. It's like, it has been 3 years of agony in there.
How, if you don't mind, how did they capture you? Like, what started this all?
Well, that is a loaded question. How they captured me. Let's start there. That's easier.
Fox sits down cross-legged.
Same with Zoth. He's just fascinated, like just
story time.
Just eagerness of a toddler on his face.
Jeb's gonna look through books while they're listening, and he's just gonna like every once in a while he's like looking over his shoulder. Yeah, cool. All right.
So Jeb's actually like searching for stuff.
Yeah, he's like just making a walk around the room. Like he still doesn't quite trust the environment. But is also like he knows his time here is limited, and these books are really important to their future.
Go ahead and roll an investigation. You can roll it normally and mostly be searching and just hear a little bit, or you can roll it at disadvantage and be paying attention to the whole conversation, but also be like kind of casually searching.
Investigation is that's a +6. That's a 22.
Okay. With your 22, you do find some things. Let's figure out what you find.
And that's not
here.
with... I didn't take disadvantage.
No worries. Garlo looks up at you as you're searching, and you, as you glance back, you realize he's watching you, and he just says very quietly, in his sort of deep, rumbling voice that, because the room is so still and silent, makes it to you no problem. He says, "There shouldn't be anything here. They came and looted the place dry. And yet, Amplector Procea, yes? Embrace the storms. Perhaps the winds have left you something." And as he says that, in that very same moment, at your feet, you come across two things. The first one is a small earring. It is gold and brass, and it has clouds engraved in the side of it. The second thing that you come across is a scroll laying on the ground. It's in a pile of ash, like other scrolls had been set fire to, but this one didn't quite burn. Like the fire extinguished or ran out of oxygen before this one could burn. And on it is a spell called Illusory Script. It's a level 1 spell, and you're welcome to look it up if you want the exact definition, but basically it lets you write something that only people you want to can see it. To everyone else, it looks like spooky, magey writing.
Yeah.
So you find that spell scroll. If there is more to find, it may be in the upper chambers of the tower, because when they captured me, they brought dozens of people and they scalped the tower. They came in and tried to take all of the knowledge, all of the lore, all of the things that I had devoted my life to building up. They stole, and if anything was dropped or lost or missed, it would probably have fallen further up in the tower. And yet, good find. He like winks at you, like good job.
Wow, Lady Luck tends to be on my side.
You asked how they captured me.
Yes.
I was a fool. Shrub came to me and warned me. You would know that Shrub, well, you've encountered Shrub once, or at least some of his historical records. Shrub was an avatar of Awara. He was a dirt folk. Shrub came to me and he told me of the Aboleth's plans, of their machinations, that they had found their way back into this material plane. And I foolishly thought that with my segment of the Rod of Seven Parts safe here on the tower, that they would be unable to bring their plans to bear. And I paid for it in the blood of the Eos Lore Foundation when the tower fell. When the tower fell, I was more focused on protecting the people in it. I threw several people out and was using my magic to cast Featherfall on them so that they might make it safely to the ground. And then when the magic stopped working, I realized what must have happened. And as my last act, rather than save myself from the tower, I threw my most important tool to an ember of the Eos Lore Foundation. It is a tome, historical, ancient, called the Book of Exalted Deeds, and hidden in it is part of what we need to defeat the Aboleths, to get rid of them. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So the tower fell, and I was crushed underneath of it as it impacted the ground here. And I was ambushed by people with strange weapons I'd not seen. They were waiting under the tower, so this was clearly some planned event. They came in, and they subdued me, And then they used magic that was taught to them by the aboleths. It is an ancient cosmic sort of magic, the sort of magic that your weave as you know it is derived from. And because of that, it is beyond the power of an avatar like myself to undo the way that we could undo other magics. We as the avatars are basically concentrations of divine magic. We're like knots in the weave, if you will. We are empowered by the gods to do their will without their presence, and so we have a limited reserve of their divine power, which is normally channeled from the outer planes, through the weave, and into their chosen or their devout. We are special, and obviously very limited in number, because we can do what they can do without them being present. But our powers are finite, because, well, depending on how cynical you are, it's either because we get the opportunity of returning to them to report on what we're doing, or it's because they want us dependent on them so we cannot achieve godhood ourselves. However you interpret that, our powers are finite and we have a limited reserve. I am not the only avatar of Gamteus. I have a second counterpart, if you will. His celestial name is Navrak, though he goes by many names in this world, and he is somewhere in Udril, and knowing of his existence, I tried to bide my power, thinking he might come to save me. But he was either unable, prevented, killed, or busy doing other things for these past 3 years. I would have had power with which to help you, save that when that sphere of annihilation began approaching me, I dumped all of it into trying to escape. And as you saw, I was unsuccessful. Whatever they're doing with the power they channel from us, they have just taken most of mine. And he sits down looking kind of defeated, but also like still looking really cool because he looks awesome in this blue suit.
So you lost all of your reserve. They've siphoned your power.
Yes, I have lost most of it.
I don't understand this whole planar thing, but what I'm understanding is you were like a well, and that well's dry now. And speaking of strange folks, I'm gonna go check. I'll be right back. I'm gonna check our perimeter.
If you wish to search this tower for anything that remains, you should begin soon. We have at most 2 days before reinforcements arrive. I am apprised they will not release lightly, especially in my weakened state.
Well, I guess I'll start looking.
I also have to report that all the other avatars, if it was not known to you, have also been captured, except for one, but she is very weakened.
I suspected as much.
Do you know if you were the first one?
I imagine it would have been simultaneous. If the effect they used on me, I mean, when they disrupted magic, it disrupted my connection to Gamteus, leaving me with my limited reserve of power. Unless others were willing to immediately channel their full reserves of power, they likely fell prey to the same traps that I did. Matt, it looks like you have a question.
Yes. For searching, but I also want to keep an eye out. Which do you want me to roll first? Because I know you're probably going to have me roll perception and investigation.
Yeah, roll investigation and then perception.
Yay. Because I rolled, and that's why I'm like vibrating, because I got a nat 20. I was just waiting. I was like, I don't want to interrupt him because he's telling stuff.
And there goes Matt. He just vibrated through the wall again. Good job, Matt.
Classic Matt.
So, and then I got for a perception check, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can read. I got a 15.
Okay. Jeb, did you want to say something before I tell him what he finds?
No, I wanted a second to talk to Garlo, so okay. We'll do it after that.
Cool. So, Fox, you leave a little bit further from the conversation, having been prompted by Garlo himself. So you're kind of making your way up the 5 stories of the library. You're maybe 3 or 4 stories up, searching through the rubble and the debris. And you come across a bracelet in the form of a Mobius loop with strange arcane markings on it. and it has a sticky note pasted to the side. The sticky note says, Demetrius, I've done everything I can, but it still only works as expected about 70% of the time. Be very careful with this. Gods know where you even found such a device, but space-time is not to be toyed with lightly. And that's what you find on the side of it.
70% space-time toy. Let's go.
70% of the space time, it works every space time.
70%
Exactly.
space-time toy is the name of my upcoming movie, but it'll only be released on VHS.
Yeah, straight to VHS.
Jeb's gonna approach Garlel and he's gonna take his hat off kind of respectfully and, sir, I didn't hear everything you said, but you said that I heard Matt say that. I heard Fox say that you were like a well that gone dry. And where do you get your how would you get that to fill back up? Is there anything that we could do for you?
The past eons you carry with you will not suffice to restore me. I will need to be connected directly back to Gomteus himself, and to achieve that, I fear we will need to use the cataclysmic ritual.
A what?
The cataclysmic ritual. There was a council of sorts held between all of the avatars, where Larodith, an avatar of Awara and perennial inventor and innovator, had discovered the bones of a method to absolutely annihilate something. Power so destructive that it had the potential to tear the material plane apart. And we deemed it too strong even for ourselves. And so we separated the spell. And, for example, I was keeper of the incantation. Larodith knows the material and somatic components. Satonia knows the area and can consecrate the ground where the spell must be cast, and so on and so forth. I fear that this ritual is the only way to get the Aboleths back out of our land.
I was just hoping to be able to give you some of this power to sustain you, but if that's not going to work...
If you have attuned to the rod already, it belongs with you. The rod is part of the cataclysmic ritual, but until then, it should stay with you, and at that time, you should be a part of what we do.
Okay.
I don't know if this is helpful or how, but after Magic had passed, when we first started our quest, Kelnor sent me some premonitions, some visions of where all the avatars were. I don't know how that got to me, but maybe there's some sort of backdoor to the gods somehow.
I suspect your message came from Kay rather than from Kelnor, in which case he was using his reserves of power, which does indicate that perhaps he was not captured in the way the rest of us were, though that doesn't help us much since he hadn't been seen for a year before the Darkening.
No one has seen or heard of anything about Kay, and I don't know if that's
Kay?
good or bad. That's the avatar of Kelnor.
Oh.
He used to visit our tower. He travels on a floating airship. But we had not seen him for a year before the Darkening.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he does that.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty cool guy.
That sounds terrifying. Like, the only thing worse than being surrounded by sky on one side is surrounded by sky on all sides.
Oh, they're very cozy and comfy.
But, none of you is touching the ground. That sounds...
Yeah.
Ooh,
You're touching the airship.
Jeb just, feels a little queasy in his stomach and is like, that sounds terrible.
I'm just saying, I think Kay's a little overrated, all right? I'm just...
Hey got us here.
I mean, I won't say that he's not, good and useful and all that, but I'm just saying.
A fascinating opinion from one of his anointed.
Don't remind me.
Wait, Fox, you're a religious man? I thought you were, all
No, I'm.
Carve your own destiny.
Kay created the changelings,
Oh.
so they are often referred to as his anointed.
I am descended from the original changelings.
Pup, you need to respect your elders more.
Oh, it's fine around here. I am not bothered.
See, he's
Perhaps
not
I should
bothered.
remind you, Gomteus is the god of
No.
chaos. We're kind of down for a good joke.
I'm talking about something else, but that's
Maybe
okay.
you could help us find him. Maybe his airship is still flying around. I am not familiar with the inner workings of airships, so I don't know if they fly via magic or mechanical.
We must hope so, because he is the only one who is able to actually cast the spell required for the cataclysmic ritual. It
That
involves,
sounds very important.
It is a complicated process, obviously, but the first step to getting there is for us to find the other avatars and to reunite the pieces of the Rod of Seven Parts, which is in itself no small task, as we, the avatars, were originally tasked with finding them, and to my knowledge, I'm the only one who found one.
We saw, I don't know if this is part of it, anything, but we saw traces of the druid artifact, Crescendo.
A fascinating
I almost
artifact,
forgot about that.
but
Yeah.
not related to the rod. However, it will
We saw
contain...
a replica of one of the rods not too long ago.
Where?
Oh, yeah.
That was in, oh man, it was back at that one town.
That dwarven, the village, right?
Where we
Yeah,
were
but
chased out
it
of?
was like but it's like the actual one was like a royal scepter, and I think it was in the kingdom of Rudril. Is that right?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm gonna be honest. There's an event that's stuck in my head that's kind of.
Owlin, do you
Or-
remember which one it was?
It's just too hoarse to respond. He's like
Man, Alan, that sucks
waving
for you.
his
I know.
hands, pointing off in the distance at where Clan Trukta's village must be.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
had quite the journey getting here. There's a lot that's happened to us just to get to this point, and we still have all the other avatars to save. So you'll have to forgive us if some details get
Muddled.
yes.
So you are questing to save all of us.
That's the
Yeah.
plan.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm just going with the flow here. It just seems like it's the idea. So
I feel like if you join us, that would make things go a lot better. But you might have your own things to do.
Well, certainly I will join you by the end. But I think I
Yeah.
need to recover my strength first. And that
That's
might
smart.
involve... You
You
said
have
one
a
of the
place.
avatars is free?
there was
yeah,
that.
which-
Yeah.
Yes.
What was her name?
Satonia, avatar of Kotix.
Yeah, Satonia.
Do you know where she is?
I believe she's
Deer
in.
Dragon.
Yeah, like
And she's on
it's a
the, like-
mountain out to the west. There's a white dragon that
Thraxenhau.
has a place there. Yeah, Thraxenhau.
But she used her last bit of power, I think.
Well, we may have helped her out with that or something. There was a pendant that she had given had given a cleric of hers, and I had done some magic to it that may have helped it a little bit. So she might be stable, but we haven't heard from. We should probably try to contact. Can you do that sending bell thing? With
I never met the
with him?
person. I
Not
only
in
have
this
your.
state.
Oh,
However,
Oh,
nearby, there is the city of Fladena, a city of dragons, and just south of that, in the mountains, is Kavor, one of the elder dragons, who existed before even we the avatars did. I believe that I could travel to her and get passage to Thraxenhau, and there perhaps unite with Satonia. Perhaps if you were able to rescue the other avatars, we could use Thraxenhau's domain to recover ourselves and then sort of launch a counterattack from there. What has been happening for 3 years? I mean, what have the Aboleths been doing?
The Aboleth specifically, not 100% sure, but we know that they're related to, and I pull out some like Wingle digits. They created this currency out of Sacrium, and they infuse it with magic, and they have these ciphers. Does anyone have a cipher?
Fox, you should have one. I gave you one a while ago with like a healing spell on it for important emergencies that you have yet to use.
Yes, I have it right here. This is very important.
It's been clipped prominently to my belt.
It was buried in my pack. I'm sorry. I put it away. I forgot about it.
Yeah, you might want to like hang on to that thing, buddy.
They have these Wingle digits which act as currency, but they also act as the conduit for casting magic through these ciphers. And then when you, from our research, when you cast a spell, that energy goes back down into the earth and turns back into Sacrium, and it's rebind again and recycled.
That is not possible. The expenditure of magic from such a material could not be recaptured.
That was just our impression based on the things we've seen and heard.
Well,
maybe that's not.
We spoke to some scientists about it, and that's like what they told us. At least the people that were working on it.
Were they of sane mind at the time? The Aboleths are known to influence the minds of others.
Yeah, we also have had trouble with that. They could have been wrong, and they were just told that.
This sounds like the kind of lie that would be used to manipulate them into participating.
I mean, they've definitely built a power base.
But there's a lot of mining in the Underdark for the Sacrium. I don't know to what end all of this is.
Of course, the Underdark. He's like got that face of someone who's putting things together. That's why it was pulling us downwards. Our power was being siphoned into the. They used us as batteries.
Ah, we were right.
Hey, high five.
Yeah,
it's one of those directions.
They must have used the avatars to jumpstart their process.
I was gonna say, like, if your power is almost gone, then that means that the other avatar's power is probably we're probably coming to the limit of everybody.
Well, they would have only needed us to start the effect. So the effect itself, whatever they're doing, is arcane in nature. Or at least it's...
But then why go to such lengths to keep you bound if they don't need you?
Because we could interrupt it, perhaps?
I could see how an avatar could cause harm to a process.
We would certainly be trying.
And then there was work being done. We ran into... We fought with one of the Aboleths.
And you lived. Very impressive.
So
we didn't
mostly
win, but we didn't lose.
I'm familiar with
we
the
set
sentiment.
them back. Yeah, we set them back, I think, a good ways, and
that's how we got that rod, right?
Pulls the rod up and is like, yeah, this definitely put a kink in their plans. Also,
the rod of intelligence.
We have their plans. Fox, don't you have that document that we pulled out of their storage?
Give me one second.
Has,
Let me dig in here.
Yeah, that has like the whole prophecy of like that they were wanting to try to keep out of the hands of everybody.
Man, I really need to organize this pack.
Yeah, man.
Just get a bag of holding. Man.
Here, can you hold this for a second, Jeb? Just
I'll hold it
here,
open.
I
set it on the ground and I pull the drawstring off the top and just like widen it up.
Just start putting stuff out, throwing out some like Pitten's robe.
I like the idea
how long's
that
that been in there?
I like the idea that you're handing all these things to Jeb, but because Jeb is only 2 shins high, it's just like this big pile, and Jeb's little hat is poking out of the middle of it.
All right.
Why
Here we
do
go.
you have like 3 half-eaten rations? Why don't you just finish the whole thing before you move on to the next one?
He doesn't like that part of the rations.
Oh, hey, no, that is not true. I just conveniently forget about it. Okay. Anyway, I think I found it.
You just eat the dessert out of each of them is what you do.
Yeah.
You eat the dessert,
He
and you drink the juice box,
That is
and then you
slander. will not take this crouching in front of my bag. I will first show you and change the subject of the conversation. I found it. I kind of folded it up too many times, though. Just give me a second.
All three of you have inspiration for that fantastic role playing. It was so funny. You pull out the plans and Garlel takes them, and now like the artificer comes to the fore. Garlel sits down and begins reading through them very attentively. It's almost as if he's forgotten the rest of you are there with him. And so there's just several awkward moments of silence as he's just staring down at the paper reading. He, flips from, one side to the other side, turns it back, spins it around.
Behind him and stand over his shoulder and kind of look down.
Same.
You're looking down, but all you're seeing are like really complicated like glyphs and math and equations, and like it's way over your head.
I'm gonna nod my head like I
over
understand.
my head.
Yep, same.
We're all nodding our heads.
This makes sense.
Yes. The flax with the doohickey.
I recognized a word.
You recognized a single word. The word was "and."
Oh yeah, this one and that one. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Oh yeah.
It's all coming together.
I mean, obviously with that Jeb, what is that? What am I even looking at?
It's a conjunction.
Yeah. Conjunction. What's a conjunction?
What's more important is what is the conjunction's function. But that's beside the point.
You guys are killing me. I'm like checking my notes and I'm like, right, conjunction. Well, looking through these,
goodness.
It appears that they have created a large arcane circle in Western Urida, and that they used surges of power from us to get it started, but that it is now self-sufficient. It is essentially a micro-concentration of the weave. Can I see that Wingle digit again? And he takes one of the Wingle digits you pulled out, and he holds it up, and he goes, see this inscription? It's like this, but, gigantic. And he hands it back to you.
I inspect it and look at the inscription.
We did see something similar on a map. We think the Aboleth was working through like multiple companies, and one of them was a mining company. Things. Right, the dig sites. They were in a circle around a central location.
Well,
do we have the map?
Weren't they a hexagon?
They were.
Was it a hexagon?
He pulls out the map and he goes, "Were they a decagon?"
Yes,
that's what it was.
Yes, those must be it.
It was centered on Tumbleweb.
Poor shrub.
And there's a big thing being built. They were building something under Tumbleweb.
At this point, they'll know that I am free. Although, again, their forces will be coming here to try and recapture me. We will probably find Tumbleweb absolutely unenterable.
It was already unenterable before we came here.
I was joking. Sorry, really bad joke. That's dirt humor. A little bit of dirt humor. You probably wouldn't understand. So, Thrax and How? Is he trustworthy? Like, do you know the guy? Because it's like, it seems like he might be trustworthy with the other avatar,
with
but
Garlel, everything.
All,
Anyone's a friend.
Information by proxy. Like, we haven't actually been over there. We don't know if it's actually a safe location, if the Aboleths have been out that way or what.
Thraxenhau is not known for his mental acuity. He considers things like lore and math and the date beneath him. I feel that his mind would be very difficult for the Aboleths to influence because it lacks most internal workings.
I mean, we made it past Kyvan. We can make it through Thraxenhau.
I don't think we will find Thraxenhau an enemy, and if Satonia is there, I believe she will be able to keep him in check. Satonia is the avatar of Kotix, the goddess of nature. And the nature
makes sense.
The nature magics should be sufficient to quell any rage Thraxenhau might feel. But also, you could send me independent of you so that you could continue your quest. It sounds as though you have business in Udril. And you said there were 2 other avatars you know the locations of?
We don't know the locations. We have a very vague idea.
Describe them. You may not realize this, but before the Eoslore Foundation was founded, I and several of the Cavorite dragons were the world's first cartographers.
Oh.
Alan, I know you're trying to talk, but it's fine. We got this. You just sit down and rest. It's okay.
Here, Alan, I'm just going to give him a piece of paper. Can you write down the answers that he was asking real quick? Because I know you know them. Can you just write it down
Well,
real
I think
quick?
one of them was there was something with grass, right?
Definitely grass.
With you, Fox, everything's with grass.
Hey, that is more his thing than my thing.
Hey, man, not anymore.
Owlin
I
holds
mean,
up the piece of
that's
paper
fair.
you gave him, or the piece of parchment or whatever, and he's written on it, one of them was trapped under a lake, one of them was trapped with some grass at the top of a mountain, and he holds it back up for everyone to see.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, one of them was under, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, Alan. Just sit down. We got this.
Garlel looks at the paper and then looks up at you. Was it dark under the lake? And Owlin nods vigorously. Interesting. That would
Do you know where that is?
I do. That would be the base of the Umbral Sea. The lair of Andromeda, the Silver Star. She's a moonstone dragon, and she would not have leased her accommodations lightly. They must have imprisoned or killed her too. I bet if you free her, she'd help you rescue whoever's in there sort of by proxy. I don't think it would be a rescue mission, but I think she would help if you were able to find her. I don't know how many
the
gem
Umbral
dragons...
Sea is not too far away from here, is it?
No, it's directly beneath the floating peak of Zanir.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Just follow the shadow underneath the peak, and it will lead you to the edge of the Umbral Sea.
And the grass?
Well, if it's grass and it's at the top of a mountain, that sounds like the old Darude city of No Stone, or perhaps
I've heard
No
about
Wood.
No Stone.
They are neighboring to each other. And again, if there is a link here, a sapphire dragon named Uriah has taken residence in the abandoned Hemetetian city. Yes, it would be the Hemetetian city next to No Stone. It would be No Wood. And yes, that would be a challenge to get to.
They're not very creative with their town names, are they?
They like dragons,
Yeah,
don't they?
They're pretty direct.
Well, I imagine dragons create the perfect hideouts for them. A draconic lair is usually full of its own defenses. It's meant to be large enough for, a dragon to pass through, allowing them to move vehicles or important, shipments of things through. It's easily defended. They just have to remove the dragon, which I guess if they could do it to me, they probably have done.
I can, a dragon owes me a favor, if that means anything.
I mean, you could cash in on any favors you want to pull this off. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to call on an ally.
I have no idea how to contact him.
There is also the matter of the Book of Exalted Deeds, which I disguised long ago to prevent anyone from finding the hidden incantation in it. And as the tower fell, I threw it to one of my Imber. His name. And he seems like he's flipping through like gazillions of names that he remembers.
You got a Rolodex.
Yeah. Pedrin.
Memory like a
Makar
Rolodex.
Pedrin was his name.
Pedrin?
He was, and Owlin is like freaking out silently over on the side because he can't move. Makar Pedrin is the name of Alan's friend who you've met.
Makar.
Yes. I threw it to him, but I did not have time to tell him what it was because then the tower fell. I hope he made it out okay.
Was that the city we got chased out of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we left on good terms with him.
Well, Alan's
Sounds
on
like
good
my
terms
kind
with
of
him.
visit to a city.
If you didn't know, we're also being hunted by the Aboleths, so there are people always after us.
I imagine that if you're here, you are probably being hunted by the Aboleths.
Now that I thought
Oh,
about
boys.
it, I'm stuck on this.
We need to.
What are
You
stuck on,
first.
Fox?
Like, I have no choice now, do I?
What?
Like, I kind of have to save the avatars.
Did you not want to?
Well, I didn't say I didn't want to. It's just the fact that now it's no longer a choice. You know, I like to have my choice.
What did you think would happen when we left?
Maybe it's just
There's
an
always a
obvious
choice.
Well, one of them's a terrible choice, so I have
But
to
still a
save.
choice.
That just makes you smart.
You could be a terrible person.
Fox, man, I know adventuring hasn't been really your thing, you know, but this is where we ended up.
I don't know. It's kind of grown on me a little bit, but I don't know. I don't like being limited. It feels weird, cagey.
But just imagine the life we'll get to live once we finish this.
Up, you've done nothing but flourish since we've been adventuring. I have no idea what you're talking about. I think you might be doing some self-talk.
I think he just wants the option, even though he knows that he would do this.
I guess you're right. I need to.
I give you permission to be a terrible, evil jerk. Just don't do it.
No, I'm not gonna leave. It's just
You can go back home to your parents.
Garlel looks
Oh,
at you,
hell
Jeb, and he
no.
goes, "You should consider joining the new Eos Lore Foundation when I rebuild it." That's some good logic right there. That's some chaotic thinking.
I could teach a class or two. Practical magic. And he reseats a couple of the shells on his bandolier.
Garlel looks at, suddenly noticing the bandolier. He goes, "What are those? May I look at them?"
Sir, I would love to sit down and talk with you about these. And let these two let this big there's light in here, isn't there?
No.
No.
No? Okay. Sorry. Never. And let these two guys yak back and forth. Yeah, and so Jeb will sit down cross-legged, obviously a very tiny fellow in the presence of a very large dragonish humanoid. And yeah, he's just gonna go through it all. And be yeah, so these components here. He takes the shells and they almost slide apart like a pill capsule. And inside of them are crushed ingredients. So it's like this one's got some sulfur and some bad guano. Don't ask, it's just necessary. And and then when I lob it through this, it's then a big fireball and this, that, and the other. And he goes into the whole thing about how when I was down in the Underdark, it just kind of worked, but on the surface it's not. And I think it's because of the presence of the Sacrium that it's maybe causing a minor weave effect or whatever. But now that I've got this rod, it's as long as it's within this range, he just kind of goes into all of the stuff. And he's just nerding out with him. He flipping through his grandpa's book and being, I can't figure out this one. I still don't understand this one here, but this one I figured out recently and it was pretty awesome. And then this one I used to send Owlin out into the sky flying wise, and it was pretty great just to see that big old guy, because I made him use this one instead of Big Boy. It was amazing. You should have seen it.
And as you're going through this whole thing, you keep expecting Garlel to chime in with some kind of cool insight or interrupt you with some kind of big knowledge, but you instead find him to be the most attentive listener, and he just sits there and takes in everything you say and asks intelligent follow-up questions where he gives you the opportunity to explain. Basically, he's just enjoying watching you be excited about something, and at the end of it, he just pats you on the back with a draconic human-sized hand and goes, "This is incredible. I'm so amazed by what you've been able to discover. This was your grandfather's work, you say?"
Yeah, I need to give credit where credit's due. I'm standing pretty tall on this, but I'm standing on the shoulders of a giant.
Well, if anyone were able to make something out of the rubble and detritus left behind by these looters, it would be you. I encourage you to search this tower before we leave and see what you can find.
Oh, we're gonna search it. We're gonna squeeze this place dry. We're gonna wring it like a towel.
I'm not yet strong enough to leave this place.
Yeah.
So perhaps someone could stay and defend me while the others searched.
I will stay.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Alan's got pretty big muscles.
Owlin waves from the corner and then flexes. Yes, this will work well. And
I'll give you a chance to practice with your new sword. You said you needed to attune to it or something.
Owlin, like, suddenly his eyes go wide, like he's just remembered that he's holding a sword he's not attuned to, and he like gets to his feet and begins. It's like the sword is faster than he is right now, so he's like swinging it in practice swings, but it's like way off balance, and so you're seeing this big burly barbarian holding a scimitar that, like, you know, a slender swashbuckler would use, but it's almost as if it's too heavy. He's like off balance and his weight keeps like flopping around, and Garlel says, just give that a couple hours, he'll figure it out.
Yeah, he'll get it. He always does.
So I guess, yeah, we gotta. Yeah, sorry, I was lost in thought. Let's do. Yeah, we got a company. We gotta do what our job. We gotta do our jobs. And
is saving an avatar not enough?
Oh, that's that's our main objective. But we still got the guy. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go search over here. Jeb, if you want to search over there, we'll get this started. And Fox just walks off.
What are you gonna do, Jeb?
Okay. Yeah, I'm retracing my steps back to the top of the tower where that room full of artifacts and stuff was. And I'm just gonna do slow and methodical. As I recall, this was the library, and so there was this was the one he was most excited about because he's looking for spells and stuff, but I think a lot of that's been destroyed or looted. And then past that was the fireball trap room, and anything in there is probably burned up. And then past that was the big open art, the artificing area with all of the little offshoot offices and stuff. So he's going to spend a little time in there kind of scrubbing around, seeing if he can find any interesting half put together implements or stuff that might be useful for owling and artificing. And then past that, he probably wouldn't hang out too much in the cafeteria past that. So really it'd be the artificing room and then the storage room at the very, very top.
Love it. We will follow both of those two stories. Zoth, Garlel sits down and just continues his conversation with you. So from time to time as they explore, we'll jump back and continue the conversation between the two of you. But let's start by following our two friends here. So Fox, I'd like you to roll a perception and an investigation. Jebediah, I'd like you to roll an investigation and an arcana check.
My perception was 8.
Hey, don't forget you got advantage for our cool RP earlier.
We also have inspiration.
Sorry, my perception.
That's what he was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Is 16, and my investigation was 14.
Nice. Fox, you begin exploring, and you're just kind of navigating around the library, kind of circuitously, just looking in the spots you weren't on your way up to the top of the tower, right? Because that's where you said you were going, right?
Yeah, I was just kind of wandering. Okay. I'm not really fully into it, but yeah.
So you find a couple things here. The first thing you come across is at the top of the library, when you make your way into the room that had the fireballs, which was sort of like a lobby for the AS Lore Foundation. That room, obviously, there's a lot of damage in there. The walls are scorched, and it still smells faintly of smoke. But you also you see kind of on one side of the room, tossed aside as if it was maybe flung by the fireballs and the force of the tower shifting and all those things. You see an ornate, expensive-looking chest with 3 locks on it. And sitting on top of that chest is a U-shaped door knocker. It looks like it was literally ripped off of a door and tossed over there. The door knocker is solid gold the whole way through. So it's the brass or the gold backing plate and then the U-shaped thing that you would actually slam on the door to knock.
Oh yeah, I'm pocketing that immediately.
Yeah, and all 3 latches of the chest are unlocked. You are able to determine from this that the knocker itself casts the knock spell. And so it's basically an arcane lock opening magic thing. And that works once per long rest. So it recharges basically at dawn is basically what happens. So that's what that is.
Pretty cool.
Then opening the chest, which I assume you do.
Yes.
Okay. Opening the chest, you find 3 coins of delving. And a coin of delving is, I'm about to read the description for our listeners because it's from a It's from Explorer's Guide to Wildermount. Like, it's an expanded source book, so people may not know it.
Yep.
It is a scintillating copper coin that sheds dim light in a 5-foot radius. If dropped a distance greater than 5 feet, the coin issues a melodious ringing sound when it hits a surface. Any creature that can hear the chime can determine the distance the coin dropped based on the tone. So it gives you 5 feet of dim light, which I guess is particularly useful for you, now that I think about it, you with your not dark vision. And it will help you determine the distance of like a drop or something. If you drop it off the edge of something, it'll ring and tell you how far down it fell.
We could have used that a long while ago.
Yeah. Yes, I can think of a time where it might have been relevant. So
just imagining like a slide
we're
whistle.
fine.
You find
just have a slide whistle and it gets deeper, deeper, deeper.
You also, as you're like kind of messing around with the chest and checking like, oh, did anything fall behind it? And you push it off to the side. You find a spot of wall that is clearly facade. Like there's a hidden door in the wall.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna check for hinges or anything like where it pivots. I'm just gonna carefully open that if I can.
So you put just a little bit of pressure on the door and it, like on exact seams, slides back about an inch, and then it's a pocket door, and so you can slide it to the side and it retracts into the wall to the left. Behind it, there is a small chamber, which we'll learn more about after we check in with Jebediah Peppermint. Jeb, tell me about your investigation and your arcana rolls.
Well, I burnt up my advantage.
Okay.
And and I'm glad I did, because my Arcana roll is a 25.
Heck yes.
And my investigation is a 16.
Awesome. Trevor,
Let's
roll
go.
2d4. Matt,
Alrighty.
roll 2d6. I am working
boys.
off of a table of cool things here. So
I got a 4 and a 3 for a total of 7.
great.
I got a 3 and a 4.
Nice. 7 and 7. I like it. Nice and even.
Hey, that's a lucky number.
That's true. Okay, so the first thing that you find, Wash, as you're going through the library, is you find a pamphlet that is titled Useful Utilities for Extracting Contentious Artifacts for the Eos Lore Foundation Lectricus. And you open it up, and some of it has been damaged, or it's fallen into water and it's kind of faded, but there is very clearly a spell written out. You can read it plain as day, nothing wrong with it. It is the spell Non-Detection, a 3rd level abjuration spell. For the duration, you hide a target that you touch from divination magic. The target can be a willing creature or place or object no longer than 10 feet in any dimension. The target cannot be targeted by any divination magic or perceived through magical scrying sensors. It has a duration of 8 hours. You also find, this is the other 7, because I got 2 charts going, or 2 tables, I should say. You also find Enhance Ability. It is a level 2 spell, and you find it scrawled on a whiteboard, and underneath of it, it says, to remember next time doing experiments.
Nice.
So you find those things in the library. Like, you know, the library also had some like whiteboards and common spaces basically, and so those are the things that you're finding there. You can now roll again as we move further up the tower to see what else we find, and we'll jump back to Fox after we check in with Zothkug. So Zoth, you are still sitting down talking
really
to
good.
Yes. Have you met all the other avatars? What are they like?
Only once at the council where we determined the cataclysmic ritual. They're all very intriguing. We reflect the gods we represent, if you will. So Kay was very mellow and hospitable, very kind, and he's a great host. He makes excellent mixed drinks. Satonia was very in touch with the weather, always talking about the weather. It just seems like a preoccupation for her. But also, Satonia is a great listener, very talented at helping you unravel your own thoughts, which for someone like myself is very useful in a friend. Shrub was just a great guy. He was, heart of gold, always wanted to hang out with people, always wanted to make you feel welcome and like you were a part of something. and now he's dead, so that's a bummer. And he like kind of trails off, like realizing, it's like starting to really wash over him, like the 4 stages of denial or of grieving kind of thing, as he reckons with the fact that like his behavior is part of what cost some of these avatars their lives.
It's, that's why we're doing what we're doing. We want to bring things back the way they were. It's certainly not ideal for anyone. A lot of people are missing their connection to the gods. I'm fortunate enough to have been given the premonition needed to begin our quest, and I pray that we succeed.
Well, if we can get the remaining avatars together, then we can contribute, but it seems that you've already been accomplishing a great deal on your own.
Yeah, we've definitely tried to slow down the aboleths and figure out as much as we possibly can on our journey. It's definitely not been the easiest of paths. I've certainly had my own personal turmoil to deal with, but we keep pushing on, we keep fighting, and we even started our own company, so...
4 Guys, Adventures, and Vibes. He reads off of your little armband.
Yes.
I like it. We jump back to Fox. Fox, you are investigating a hidden door that you found in the side of the lobby of the Eoslor Foundation Guild Hall. So you step in, and I open up the right page in my notes so I can tell you what you see. Isn't it great
Always
how we
love
both
a
do
good
those things?
Good secret compartment, it's just
You step into a room that is full of now emptied supply crates and spiked equipment damaged irreparably. So there's like all kinds of magic, like artificer items. They look like the kinds of weapons that the squads of private security goons that you recently fought were using. Like maybe this was a supply closet for them, or they found whatever this room was before, they found it and repurposed it into kind of like a space to like muster.
Instantly looking for whatever Green Squad had. Do I see something with a weird looking scope on it?
You do see some of those items. Again, all of the weapons they've left behind are irreparably spiked unless you can find the blueprints. So you now have a broken it's an ice knife sniper rifle is basically what it is. Ice knife is the spell they were casting. So you have the broken weapon, but you don't yet have the blueprints or an artificer talented enough to repair it. But that's half the battle.
Can I grab multiple?
There are only 2.
That 2 is good.
Okay.
I will strap those to the top right next to my bedroll.
Perfect. You are now much wider than you were before. They're like, sniper rifle length. So, we're talking probably, 3.5
well, yeah, you gotta
4.5
like
feet.
Turn sideways to shimmy through doors.
Yeah, exactly. However,
we got a boon.
We got a boon.
Ooh.
You find a blueprint next to one of the guns. That's a great boon.
Let's go!
Thank you, Belly Savalas. You find a blueprint next to one of the guns. It's still a complicated... It will require an artificer to put together. If only you had one of those.
If only.
If only there were an artificer in 4 Guys, Ventures, and Vibes. But you do find the blueprints necessary to repair the ice knives, or the ice knife snipers. The IKS, if you will.
The IKS, I love it! I'm writing that down.
It's an IK-47.
And we're going to put down IKS 2.0 because we're going to make it better.
Ooh, we're going to improve it. Chat says my job here is done.
Good job, Belly.
Well timed,
you
chat.
deserve it.
Yeah, A+. You also see at the back of this supply room, you see a couple of torches. So, like, you're now able to literally see. Like, you can light a torch and look around.
I light a torch.
Yep.
Does anything happen?
Nothing bad happens or anything like that. However,
Okay.
in the new light of the torch, you're able to make out clearly, like there's the logo of Private Security Goons that confirms your original suspicion. And you're also able to make out that there is a further chamber of this hidden area. So, like, it kind of follows the curvature of the tower. So, like, you know, if you go left and you're following the outside circumference of the circle, there's a second chamber attached to this one.
Ooh,
and so you
wait.
push your way into... Oh, go ahead.
This must have been the way they went out. I'm still gonna push through, but
So you
this
push...
might be a little dangerous.
Yeah, you push open that chamber, and we find out what happens when we're done checking in with the others. Jebediah
no.
Peppermint, you are continuing your search through the tower. Tell me about your rolls.
I rolled really good.
Yeah?
I got a 25 on my Arcana roll. No. Yes.
Nice.
No, 26.
Nice.
26 on my Arcana and 21 on my Investigation. I rolled a 17 and a 15.
Bro, you're killing it.
Yeah,
Okay,
This is my time.
here's what we're going to do. Matt's going to roll the 2d6, and Trevor's going to roll the 2d4. But this
Alrighty.
time, I'm going to give you the 3 adjacent spells on the table, and you're going to pick which one you find, because you rolled so well.
Ooh.
Okay, so I rolled a 5 and a 4.
Nice.
I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Okay. Okay, here's what you see. So the first one that you come across are some more scrolls, and these are up near the top of the library. So they're, you know, like probably pages that fell out of books in a hasty run or something like that. But they are mechanically, they're spell scrolls. And they have, you can choose either another illusory script, mage armor, or levitate. Those are the 3 spells that are on them.
Levitate.
Okay, levitate. And to separate that from the fly spell for our listeners, levitate is a thing that only like lifts a thing up and floats it. It's not like you have control.
Yeah, it's like
over yourself.
hovering on the ground.
Exactly. You would have to like push off of things to continue your journey. So that's
It's
the
great
first
for
one.
trapping baddies in the air because you can control the elevation.
Ooh.
Yes,
And
that's
it's
true.
not touch.
I think
Like
it's up to
fly
20
is
feet.
touch. You have to touch somebody. But levitate, it's at range. You just cast it on them, and then they're just like, whoop. They're just Winnie the Pooh and up through the air like a little black rain cloud.
I'd imagine it's like that scene from Indiana Jones for like the big guy comes with the swords and he's swirling them around and you're just like levitate. Bye.
Okay, the other things that you find are 3 more usable pamphlets. The first one is a before you go to work safety pamphlet for the Ember headed to their first few days at work. It has a remove curse incantation written on it. I'm going to tell you the 3 options, remember, so you're going to pick one of these that you find. It could be a safety briefing for the Luna that says, during a dangerous extraction, use this glyph of warding spell to protect your ward as you're on your way out. Or you find a pamphlet called Arriving with Style for the Tenetricus, which are the mouthpieces of Gamteus, and it has a spell called Ashardalon Stride in it. That one, you squinted, so I'm going to
Yeah, I'm not
read
familiar with
that
that one.
that one is the billowing flames of a dragon blast from your feet, granting you explosive speed. For the duration, your speed increases by 20 feet, and moving does not provoke opportunity attacks. When you move within 5 feet of a creature or an object that isn't being worn or carried, it takes 1d6 fire damage from your trail of heat. A creature or object can take this damage only once during a turn. At higher levels, when you cast this spell using a spell slot of 4th level or higher, increase your speed by 5 feet for each spell slot level above 3rd. The spell deals an additional 1d6 fire damage for each slot level above 3rd.
Wow.
So it was remove curse, super speedy fire boots, or what was the other one?
The other one was Glyph of Warding.
Ward. Yeah.
Glyph of warding. Oof. I think I want the fire boots. Like remove curse, I think Zoth can handle that one pretty well. Glyph of warding. Well, I think we're very mobile Well, Glyph of warding's really good. Yeah, fire boots. Be fire boots.
Ashardalon Stride is the name of that spell. So you found that on a spell scroll. The Okay, that brings us back to Zothkug, who is sitting down having a conversation with Garlel. Where's the conversation moved to?
Yes. So, when did the aboleths first appear? Like, what made you guys have the first meeting to begin with to create the spell? Like, what happened? What were the events before?
Well, we didn't create the spell with the aboleths in mind. In fact, they shouldn't have been able to get to this universe at all. The aboleths were banished by the Rod of Seven Parts from our realm, and in doing so, the magic was so strong that it shattered the rod into its 7 component pieces and threw them around the material plane, which is why the gods tasked us with finding them. We actually came together and formed what we called the Cataclysmic Ritual because Larodith couldn't stop tinkering. Larodith, is an avatar of innovation and adaptability, and frankly, I think was getting bored of not having a crisis to solve, and so came to us with this cool idea and, the bare pieces of it, and with access to my library of lore and some of the other things, was able to put all the pieces together. And that's how we were able to create the ritual. However, the aboleths entering this world, there have been 72 realities, and all of them have been undone by a fight with the aboleths.
72?
Yes, and the cosmic fragments of all 72 of those realities rest within the rod that Jebediah carries. Unfortunately, the aboleths don't forget. They are a race of beings that form out of the bitter, hated memories of their predecessors. And so when one is destroyed, it's only a matter of time until their held knowledge and abilities coalesce into another. But we thought we had barred them from this universe. However, perhaps something stronger, like Larodith's new tinkering cataclysmic ritual, would do the job.
So you can't actually get rid of the aboleths for good because they'll just keep respawning with the same information and knowledge the previous one had and continue to...
That has been the case up until now, but perhaps it merely requires intervention from a non-godly participant. And he looks down at you and kind of smiles a little bit like, maybe it's, the interesting ideas that you can bring to the forefront. And Owlin is bouncing up and down trying to suggest and make scientific contributions, but they're not able to. And he goes, if only we knew anyone who was, had the engineer's brain who might be able to contribute to the spells that we're going to use. He's clearly having fun just toying with Owlin a little bit.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't think we know anyone like that. Maybe we'll meet someone along the way.
Maybe so. We'll jump back from there to Fox. Fox has found a second chamber. Oh, we're rolling the tension pool. Chat's done it. Just as we get back to Fox, too. As he opens another hidden door.
Hidden door. Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
Fox.
I just realized.
Go ahead.
Yes. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. You open the hidden door, and you feel a slight breeze on your cheek, even though there is no outside access from this room. You have 30 seconds to decide what to do.
Oh no. Slight breeze, and I don't see any access in this room.
No.
Do I see anything else?
Sure. Looking around the room, you also see there's an indentation into the wall on the far side of it. Almost it's like a vertical line with some kind of ornamentation or something on it. And then there's also along the walls next to that are some plaques with different things written on them, but you don't really have time to read them. Your 30 seconds are up and you have not taken an action. And so the ambient gust of wind awakened by the presence of an intruder begins flipping rubble at you. Roll a dexterity save.
Oh my goodness. Well,
My goodness.
I am a rogue, so that is a 19.
That is a 19.
Can't be a rogue if I can't dodge a couple rocks.
Yep. So it flings 8 things at you, and you dodge all but one of them. You are dodging, ducking, dipping, diving, and weaving. but it does deal max damage on the die. So that's 10 points of damage as a chunk of rubble just thuds right into the side of your face. As the last one hits you, though, it's like it sits back down, like it goes still in the room again. It seems like the effect has ended and probably won't trigger again.
So I'm using Uncanny Dodge to have that. Okay. I saw it coming.
Sure.
I'm assuming.
It's probably because you had the two sniper rifles sticking off of your shoulder. You like thought you were gonna dodge, but you ran into a wall because you're wider than you expect.
So I'm still falling unconscious.
No way.
So that's why I was like, at the first hint of danger, I should leave. And I was gonna say I probably should leave, but then you were describing it, and I was waiting, and I shouldn't have waited. I'm at -1 health points after taking half damage.
Ah, rip. You're gonna roll your death saves, but not tell us what you roll, so you're the only one who knows until something happens.
Yep. Should I start?
We'll come back to you and have you roll your first death save the next time we check in with Fox.
Okay.
We hop over to Jebediah Peppermint. What's Jeb up to?
So does that conclude? I mean, that was like 2 pilfering sessions. Is that like for each of those rooms? Does that conclude what I've able to get in here, or
that's what you found in the? That's what you found in the library. But you could still move up from the library through that lobby area and into the.
Oh, I haven't even gotten into the artificing room.
Right. Yeah, you haven't even gotten there yet.
Ooh. Okay.
In fact, what's your passive perception? It doesn't even matter what your passive perception is. He left the room open. So on your way up through the lobby, you see the big open door that Fox left behind him as he went into the secret room.
Hey, Fox. I'm gonna poke around in here a little bit. Have you looked around and like you find anything cool yet?
You don't hear any response.
Hey, pup. Hello. I'm gonna pull up the blunderbuss and point it down the door and cast message at Fox and say, "Hey, pup. Can you hear me? I just finished up in the library down below, and I'm coming through the artificer room." Boof! And he shoots it off.
Nothing comes back.
Maybe he went up top. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna point it up at the ceiling, like out the door up to the next floor. Do the same thing.
You don't get any reply.
Well, just to make sure this thing's working, I'm gonna point it down towards the library and shoot a message to Zoth and say, "Hey Zoth, there's a new door that's gonna open to the side here in the artificing area with the that Umber Oak smells. With the but I think I think Fox might be going that way. I'm gonna check it out, but just so you know where I went."
And is this one I can reply?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can reply to this message. Poof.
Oh, all right, man. If you need me, just you know where I am.
Okay. And I'm gonna check out the door.
All right, and we'll check in with you in the next room when we get back to Jebediah Peppermint. So that brings us back to Fox, or to Zoth, who is sitting down talking to Garlo.
Is there anything that we should know about the Aboleths that we don't know? Like, we know they have mind control powers. We know their slime is not good and can harm, but we haven't been able to gather a crazy amount on them.
I mean, it seems like you know the essentials. The slime, as you mentioned, it's toxic and will poison you. It forces you to grow gills so that you can only breathe underwater, which is a good way for them to enslave people. Chat has granted a boon. We'll get to that in a second. Which is a good way for them to enslave people because it forces them to stay in the water where they are susceptible to the aboleths. So that's definitely an aspect of the way they fight. Also, tactically, they prefer to use their minds and their subjects to fight than to fight themselves. For an aboleth to enter the fray itself is pretty rare. Those are.
We've had a bit of trouble with the whole mind control part. The best we've got so far is just bopping someone when we suspect it, but that is kind of tedious and doesn't bode well for people who are new to our group, and so do you have any way of, or ideas about counteracting the abelisks in that way? We had someone who was working on a device that could, but I was just wondering your thoughts.
I think personally, as the avatar of the god of chaos, bopping them on the head's a pretty good idea. But you could, if they start behaving strangely, if this is someone I'm sure you could, just use some of your insight to try and determine whether they're behaving properly or not. Another thing that you could try is you could try and get them to do something counter to the aboleth's intentions. I suppose the aboleths might be crafty enough to allow them, but that's a way that you could test it also.
We didn't think to try that. That's good insight.
Indeed. And then we jump over to Fox, who's going to roll his next, or I guess his first death save. And he's not going to tell us how it goes.
Watch his eyes very carefully.
I have rolled it.
He has rolled it.
It has been calculated.
It has been rolled.
And that brings us to Jebediah Peppermint, who steps into a supply room, basically. It's got a bunch of emptied out supply crates, and there are some weapons that have been spiked. You find some interesting little artifice tool looking things. They've got the logos of the private security goons on them. As you're
What do you mean spiked? I feel like that's a common term that I should understand, but I don't.
Yeah, spiked just means disabled. So if you spike a cannon emplacement before the army takes your wall, it means that you've destroyed the cannon in a way that it cannot be repaired.
I gotcha.
So yeah, so
Man,
they've basically spiked a bunch of their weapons and stuff.
Man, that scope on the top of this thing, that would be really nice to have on one of my blunderbusses. That's a bummer. And I'm gonna, hey, Fox, hello, pup, you in here? I'm gonna peek around through the other door.
You still don't, you do peek through the other door. In this room, you still don't hear any response from Fox. You peek through the other door, and you feel a gust of wind blowing on your cheek. You have 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yep, Fox is also laying on the ground in this room. But yeah, you have 30 seconds to decide what you do when you feel a gust of wind on your cheek, but no source of wind is visible.
I'm going to back out of the room.
You back out of the room.
Just around the corner.
Yeah, you back out of the room, and the little wind feeling on your cheek subsides, and maybe 10 seconds later, you suddenly see about 8 random pieces of rubble fly out of the room towards, not onto you, but towards the door. They fling out of the room and thud against the wall behind you. And then everything goes still again. You peek around the corner. Your little hat precedes you as you peek around the corner. And now there's nothing happening in the room, but you do see, just like Fox did, there are several plaques on the wall to your left, the curving wall of the tower itself. And then at the end of the room, there's some kind of depression in the wall. It's vertical. It's about 1 shin long. It has some kind of weird ornamentation at the top. And on the floor, unconscious with a rock right next to him, is Fox.
Okay, if this wasn't dangerous, I would be laughing a lot right now.
Just bleeding from the forehead on the ground.
Yeah, as you do. I'm going to...
Wall depression, no, get better. Good one, Billy. That's not Billy.
If I step into the doorway, do I feel the wind on my cheek again?
No, you don't.
Okay, I'm gonna just kind of scuttle my way in, kind of stay low to the ground, and tug on his foot, hey, pup.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Okay? And then he starts ruffling through his bag. Oh, dang it. I think I gave Zoth all of my stuff. Oh. Okay. And I scuttle up towards the top of the top of him, and I pull out the little jar of ointment that I have, and I massage it into the big dent in his head, and kind of shampoo massage a little bit.
Nice.
And kind of squeegee the blood out of his hair.
What a nice bonding moment.
That is a nice bonding moment for you two. Fox, you regain 2d8 plus 2 hit points, which you can roll on your own.
Gotcha.
And you are obviously awake again. So Fox wakes back up as you use Kyotone's
As I'm
magic
patting
wand.
patting him on the cheek. Hey, pup, what you sleeping for, dog?
Head.
Yeah, I saw. You should probably shapeshift that dent out of your skull, my guy.
What? There you go. All right. Can't really stop the bleeding though.
That was literally impressive. That was very, very impressive. What do you? You got beamed by a pebble, my guy. What's
I don't know. I walked into the room. All of a sudden, like everything started flying at me. This huge gust of wind, and now you're here. I guess I should be a lot more careful, man. I didn't realize how much that going through all the fire and the fight we had, it took a lot out of me, man.
The adrenaline's probably still pumping. You probably feel a lot better than you actually are. Here, give me your hand. I'm gonna pull him up to his feet. Yeah. Whoa.
Wow, you're pretty dense to have been able to pull me up, man. Didn't
Yeah, I'm deceptively husky underneath this loose jacket.
Thanks for pulling me up.
Not really. I'm just small. It's all about leverage. I'm using your own weight against you. What are those things on your back? Those things look amazing.
I take my backpack off. So yeah, I found these. They're damaged, but I thought maybe you and Owlin might be able to do something with them. So
yeah,
I can't leave without them.
I hold one of them in my hands and I'm like, man, this thing's pretty complicated. I mean, if we had some sort of blueprint or something, that we could probably do something. But in this state,
this blueprint? Pull out of my back pocket.
Hey, there you go.
Two steps ahead. That's Fox for you. Ow.
Well, one step ahead, and I point at your head.
Yeah, I shouldn't have tapped my head. But yeah, no, could you imagine it? We're in a fight.
I can imagine it.
And it's just you and Alan maybe, and it's just like you're in danger, but then you're like, and then they start to fight, and you're like, nuh-uh, and they're like, you can't fight me, and they're like, what? And then I boom snipe them from like all the way across a mountain. Could you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, that literally happened to me, and I almost died once. So yeah, it's like a pretty clear image. It was only like an hour ago.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, it'd be nice to be on the other end of that.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think...
Could you imagine if you found one of those little things that let them crawl on the ceiling? Dude, you on the ceiling would be a force to be reckoned with.
Dude, do you think if I start... All right, I'm gonna start digging in here, but be careful because I'm worried that this is the escape route.
You're worried that I'm going to be neglectful and get hit in the head with a rock? Is that what you're worried about?
When you rub it in like that.
If a rock flies out, it's just gonna go over my head.
And on that note, we'll jump back to Zothkug, who's down talking to Garlel.
Man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also, I saw you. I wanted to show you this. The remnants of Crescendo, and I pull out, show him the pot with the plant in it. But yeah, before we got the rod, this was by basically source of magic. The plant has leaves with magic imbued in them from Crescendo, and I was shown by my Conid how to take care of it and everything. So I've been carrying it with me, and it's been very, very kind and a blessing, to say the least.
Fascinating creatures, my Conids. And he takes the plant from you, and he's looking through it with you, and you've done a great job tending it, and just sort of acknowledging the plant as you go. And yeah. Have you any other questions for me?
Yeah. What are the gods like? Like, you obviously see your god. Have you met the others? What's that process? Where do you meet?
I've not met the others, but when I communicate with Gomteus, It is usually at one of the places of worship, and we communicate through storms. And so he generally takes the form of a thundercloud that, forms the shape of his head as he's speaking, and he usually speaks in the form of a dragon's head. It's pretty impressive. I'm into style and stuff, and he looks down at his suit maybe a little bit too much, but the talking dragon head in a cloud thing, that's pretty cool.
That is cool. There's just so much we don't know.
But there's lots that we do. Well, there was. He looks up at his destroyed library. Maybe we can find some of those books again.
Do you want to go to the library? See what's left?
I might be well enough to walk up there. Let's see if we can find anything. And you begin walking up to the library.
Alan, if you have any other specific questions, feel free to write them down.
Alan is now crouching over the disfigured runes that were imprisoning him, and he motions Garlel over and, kind of points at them and then, shrugs his hands what? And Garlel goes, well, it's some form of, cosmic magic, the ancestor magic to what you are able to use here that they would have used to imprison me. But there seems to be a spoke of this trap for each of the 8 schools of magic. And then, of course, the two tertiary is not the right one. The 2 secondary schools as well are represented here and here. So I imagine that it's just a concentration of magical force, and they were using it sort of like a lodestone, where this magical force and the magic that I carried within me were forced together, and it pulled me into the ground. Alan nods very scientifically and, takes some notes or something. I don't know. Jake, sorry. And then we jump back up to Fox and Jebediah, who are now together in this secondary hidden room.
I just thought I would add real quick, when you said, where do you meet? I was just imagining, he's down at the local bar, we get a couple of pints, talk about godly things. The other guys, they're real chill. We throw some darts. You know how it is. Anyway, sorry. So, all right. I've already picked clean the room, right?
You have
the previous room.
The previous room, yes. In this room, again, now that you're awake and not under attack, there are 3 plaques along the left wall. Each of them just they look like the sort of the creeds or the tenets of the Gomtean faith in there, Amplector Prochea, Ventus Poliae. And then at the end of the sort of room, there is, again, that vertical depression in the wall. Now that you have time to examine it, Jeb, you're the first one to realize it's the same height as the piece of the Rod of 7 Parts that you have, but this one is ornamented differently, as if there was perhaps a piece of the Rod of 7 Parts was pressed into the wall here at one point and is now missing. The depression is shaped like a dragon's head, the ornamentation at the top of this section of the Rod of 7 Parts is shaped like a dragon's head.
So do we need to find another rod for this? Does that mean they have a rod?
Well, if we think about when this place was built, way back when it was built with the intent for this rod to go here, Jeb's just gonna try to fit the piece of the rod that he has into it to see if anything happens.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Yeah, this is... Huh.
Jeb, make an Arcana check.
I'm good at those. Let's see if my luck runs out.
Looking at the edges of the depression.
That's a 25.
Okay. Fox, roll investigation, and then we'll come to what you find when Jeb's done. So,
sure.
Jeb,
come on, Mr. Rogue. Somebody rolled over a 20. Ooh, I'm so shocked, Mr. Rogue over here.
Jeb, you are able to determine, kind of just looking at the way it's built and the way it relates to the room and stuff, that this looks like a power source, like the rod was being used to power something. You are able to infer that it was probably what held up the Eoslor Foundation Tower when it was floating. And so for the tower to fall would not, like, the tower wouldn't have fallen when magic disappeared because the rod was holding it up. Someone must have manually removed the rod from the tower.
Fox.
And then
someone sabotaged this place.
At the same time as you have that revelation, Fox, what'd you roll on your investigation?
I got an 11.
You got an 11. So at the same time as you have that revelation, he starts out looking around the edges of the depression in the wall, trying to figure out what he's looking at. But you're actually distracted by something else on the ground, maybe a few feet away from where the rod would have been attached to the wall, and clearly too dusty to be new, like this has been there for maybe 3 years, is a small Pez candy.
Oh. I pick it up. Like,
Fox, I think I've discovered something incredibly like complex and arcane. What did you find over there?
I think I found a candy. I might try it if it's like a hard
complex
candy
and arcane.
I might be able to like brush it off. You know, I don't know. It might still be
you know what
usable.
they say, 5-decade rule.
Oh yeah, true. But you were saying something about sabotage, and I want to say like that's kind of obvious given what happened 3 years ago.
I mean, I don't know, man, because that means that like if this thing was powered by one of the rods, it would have stayed up.
Really?
Well, think about it. Like the rod. Okay, I mean, all right. So the rod contains its own weave, which means that when magic went away during the darkening, anything without a weave, like that magic ceases. And we always thought that this whole place dropped. But if this place was held up by a piece of the rod that was supplying its own weave, that should not have stopped. That should have continued to. Which means that somebody or somehow this was removed. Either I doubt Garlel. I'm sure he knows about this. If this is like his place, I doubt he would have come in here and yoinked it and tanked this place to the ground.
So much sense, though.
But who would have taken it?
Well, it had to have been the whole like people behind this, right? This because Garlel mentioned that when the tower fell, people were ready to ambush, which means it was coordinated.
I didn't hear him say that.
Yeah, it was a coordinated strike, which means someone was on the inside when it fell.
Okay, here's another thing. The rod that I have, the aboleths had it, and we got it from them, which means it's not beyond the scope of reason that they are incapable of unlocking them, so they might have this one too locked away somewhere and are unable to activate it. Or I don't know, but it's not without outside the gut. Yeah, it's not unreasonable to think that they would have taken it.
And if you think about it, they would of course try to keep them separate because if you have a single point of failure, if I rob the bank,
it's got to be somewhere big. It's got to be someplace with really tight security. I mean, this was at the center of Tumbleweb, like in the heart of their operate. Like this was right next door to their lair.
Well, so where would we gotta tell Garlel? We gotta tell Zoth and Owlin.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, I don't think there's. I'm not seeing really much else. Oh wait, I think I got enough dust off this. Do you think it's like clean enough to eat?
I mean, you want me to run detect magic on it? If it was like candy, yeah, but I mean, it would have like dissolved by now, or something would have eaten it, bugs or something.
Maybe it's a really hard piece of candy.
I mean, sure. But I mean, I could do a detect magic on it real quick and see if it's something.
I guess that's safe. I can see your logic.
Yeah, I'm going to take a minute and cast detect magic on it, and it's gonna do everything in the area too. So like a sweep of the area. Two of the things that I'm particularly interested in is that brass ring that has the clouds on it. And this candy. I'm very interested in. But yeah.
Give me one moment to pull up a note.
Note.
Unprepared.
Note.
Canceled.
Canceled. This guy. Okay, the earring. You detect.
I would just know the school.
Yeah. I have to pull the earring back up. That's what I'm going through.
Detecting trace amounts of fabulousness.
Well, obviously.
Trace amounts of suave.
Yeah.
Ooh, debonair. Debonair.
Transmutation is coming from the earring. You also...
Well, I'll pocket that again.
The candy has very, very, very faint traces of evocation magic on it, but the evocation magic doesn't seem to be coming from the candy itself. It's almost like the candy was near something that had evocation, and there are leftover traces of that magic. And lastly, you detect one more piece of magic, and this is the boon that chat cast a little while ago. I've been waiting to get back to this room to give it to you. Yeah, you detect again just you detect just a little bit of evocation magic left back in that room where all of the other supply crates were. Chat just granted another boon. We'll come back to that one in a second. We'll give that one to Zoth. You detect just a little bit more evocation magic out there.
So it looks like the candy itself isn't magic, but it's got some traces of evocation, which is like Bernie Bang Boom stuff, which means it might have come from or been near something that was Bernie Bang Boom. So you're probably fine to eat it. You might I don't know, rot your teeth or something. I don't know.
Bernie Bang Boom sounds like something I don't want to.
Well, definitely not unless I'm casting it our enemies. But it's like that. It's not that. It's like either the dust that's on it, so like wash it off or something, or it's like maybe the dispenser that it came out of, or like if it was like a gumball machine or something.
Let me pull out my water skin. Just
maybe there's a magic item around here that just infinitely dispenses candy, evocation candy. I don't know. I'm gonna. Well, actually, yeah, I'm gonna try. I mean, come on, this is like knowledge. I'm all out of ointment. Right? I'm all out of magic ointment.
I can't be that bad. It's a candy.
Well,
the famous
what was really bad was I used all the rest of my only healing ointment to patch up your skull.
Fair.
While you're considering your life choices, I'm gonna go look at something that kind of fired off over here. That it gave me a little ping.
Oh, okay.
You step into the other room, and you see a fist-sized chunk of amethyst laying on the ground behind a couple other crates and boxes and things. It was hidden underneath some other rubble.
How did you
stuff.
miss this amethyst? It's huge. It's like the size of your fist.
What? No, I didn't miss that. I just I was coming back for it. Yeah.
I pick it up. What's it look like, and what kind of school am I getting off of it?
You were getting, I think, evocation, but it might be conjuration that's on these ones. I can't remember because it has effects, but they're not spells.
Gotcha.
It is a fist-sized chunk of amethyst, and on the inside of the amethyst, as you look at it, like kind of the reflection or the kind of light glinting off of it from the torch that Fox has now lit, it almost looks like the shadow of a dragon flies through it.
Well, that seems significantly spooky and potentially useful. We're going to have to sit down with this and figure out what it all does.
Definitely
we'll put that
cool.
Put that in the assess later bag.
Fair enough.
Fox, are you eating the candy?
How's your candy?
Or are you not eating the candy?
Just eat it. It's consuming ancient candy has never hurt you in the past, right?
You know what? Yeah, Jeb, you make a good argument. And
I don't,
immediately
but it's okay.
Eat it. I immediately eat it.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys an option here to use the boon that chat gave you 3 minutes ago for me to connect the dots on the clue that you just ate without connecting the dots of, or I can give a boon to Zoth like I was planning originally.
We already gave Zoth a boon, and we don't want to be stingy with the boons. We don't want 2 boons, Fox, do we? We don't need 2 boons.
No. What are boons? Why are we talking about... Where are we? What is this place?
Wait,
this metaverse.
I'm not sure which decision that means you want to do.
I think we've decided...
I'm not about that boon life.
Yeah. We're going to give it to Zoth.
Okay.
Oh, how thoughtful.
You eat the little Pez candy and you roll a Constitution save.
Woo! Constitution is not my best stat. It was my dump stat, and I got a 6.
It's super dusty, but otherwise fine.
I'm scared for my life, but it tasted fine.
It's like
what it tastes like.
It's a literal Pez, like it's just like a block of sugar.
It's like,
but now it's sugar and dust. So,
I don't think I got enough dust out of it though. But
does it taste like sugar?
It just kind of tastes like powdered sugar, with like maybe a little bit of hint of. Well, I can't really taste the flavoring. It must have had a flavoring, but it's just dusty now.
We used to have some candies like that back in Tumbleweb. It was like a big piece of paper, and they would just put little dots of like sugar candy on it. You would like peel them off, but it like doesn't really taste like anything. It's just like sweet, and then whatever color it is on there. Is it kind of like that?
Kind of like that, except with dust.
With dust, yeah. Well, I mean, that actually might be a little bit of an improvement. Hey, you got a little piece of history floating around inside you right now.
Hey, I am history now. I am history.
You are a relic of the ages. You are now a monument.
Oh yeah.
And so we jump back to Zothkug and Garlel, who are wandering through the library. Zothkug, your boon, as promised.
Yay.
As you're wandering through the library, Garlel stops and goes, I think one of them survived. And he crouches down and picks up a holy text of Kelnor. And he's like flipping through the holy text, and he goes, come on, it's got to be in here. Yes, I think this would be useful to you. And he hands you a page, and on it has a spell which you instantly learn called Beacon of Hope. It is a 3rd level spell. This spell bestows hope and vitality. Choose any number of creatures within range, which is 30 feet. For the duration, each target has advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws, and regains the maximum number of hit points possible from any healing.
I already have that spell.
Oh, rip you, dude. Just kidding. How about you pick any 2nd level spell from the cleric list?
Oh, cool. I will do that.
And you can add that to your list then, because I don't know what your spell list is, so we could do this all day.
Yeah, you're good.
I could do this all day.
I will be redoing my spell list now with Zoth's introspective experience. Next long rest. We just haven't had a long rest for a while.
Yes, resting has been hard to come by for you.
Ooh.
We've already asked Jake's questions, so if you have any other questions for him, you can ask them, and otherwise you can just kind of slowly make your way up the tower to reconnect with the guys.
Yeah. Is there anything you need from us, Garlel?
Just to be taken to the Cavarites so that I can catch a ride to Thraxenhow and begin my recovery and then my vengeance.
Yes, and we will free the avatars. Do you need us to come with you all the way to Thraxenhow?
No. Once I am among the dragons, I will be quite safe.
Oh, yeah.
We go way back.
Is flying isn't magical for like you and like transforming, right?
Well, I've probably used too much of my power for it to be worth transforming back into a dragon. But no, those of us who are still dragons can, they have wings, so they just flap those, and that's how they fly.
I figured. That's good.
And then we jump back up to Fox and Jim.
Wings go flap, and dragon go boom.
Fox is like on some dusty candy. And otherwise, you're standing there. Jeb is holding a chunk of amethyst. Fox, before you leave the room to go in and look at the chunk of amethyst, you do notice there is one more door hidden in the side of this room opposite the plaques.
Jeb, bingo, bingo, bingo.
Did you figure out what the thing was?
No, I found a door.
Oh, okay. Hey, that was good out. Hey, I was thinking.
15 to investigate the door. Go ahead, Jeb.
What if with that thing that you ate was one of those little dusty pills that Owlin has that like sucks up water? What if you just like ate 5 cubic feet of water? Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Come on, I would have tasted
5.
that. I mean, like, I'd be drying out like the desert, or I'd be like gushing
No,
water.
like if it, like I remember him saying, like you throw it in water and it like sucks it all up and turns it into a little crunchy pill, and if you like crunch it, it like breaks out into. Did you swallow the thing or did you like chew it up?
No, I chewed on it.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
'Cause then you would have like vomited 5 cubic feet of water in my face, and that wouldn't have been fun.
I don't think it would have been fun for either of us. But
Thought experiment. That was fun.
how's I think this door might be ...
You think it might be trapped. In fact, you're pretty sure there's contact poison on there's only a little hidden depression in the wall that you push to activate the door. And you're pretty sure even pushing in that little hidden button, like there's contact poison on there.
All right, don't touch this door, Jeb. I have
Yeah, sometimes I have a little hidden depression.
I'm gonna go find a rock that would fit in the depression.
Sure.
And just kind of use the rock as a median to exert my presence and control on this door.
Roll sleight of hand to see if you can do the job delicately enough to not.
You wanted me to roll a sleight of hand as a rogue? That is a 21, of course.
Yeah, so you're able to push in the little depression, and the door, this one, it just vanishes. It's like the door was an illusion. So the door vanishes, and on the other side is a new rough-hewn ramp/staircase leading up to the surface. Blinding light, after all of your time in the darkness, is shining down it. This is moonlight, but it's like blinding moonlight shining down it on you, and as it illuminates you, you need to roll a dexterity save, as at the top of the stairs, Red Squad fires a gun at you.
Yeah, that's 18.
All right, you successfully dive to the side as a revolver shot ricochets off the floor, and then you hear one of their voices up there go, "Just throw it and let's go," and then you hear something boom, 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 bouncing down the stairs towards you.
I'm immediately running for the exit, not the upstairs, but the back in. I'm going back in.
Okay.
I push Jeb if he doesn't move.
Okay. Jeb, are you going with him?
Yeah.
Okay. You both make it back into the open lobby area. Just as behind you, something explodes with incredible force. It flings dust and debris and rubble out the side, out the door that you just came through, and you see this whoosh of fire gush out of it. And when you look back in at the end of the explosion, the whole ceiling has caved in, blocking off the external access.
Wow. Man, I didn't even see that explosion. I was too busy walking away from it. Running away. So I guess we're going out the way we came in?
You are like incredibly calm. I'm sorry if I'm talking very loud, but my ears are ringing right now, man. Like that. How are you just so back at neutral right now? Like what is going on?
We cut down to Zoth and Garlel, who are both looking upwards, having just heard this huge explosion, and they can't actually hear what he's saying, but you can hear the muffled yells of Jebediah trying to talk over his ringing ears. We should probably go look at that. Right?
Definitely.
That's probably, we should probably, okay.
We're usually fine, but, in the off chance that they're not.
The two of you go, walk up to the other two. Owlin is still, crouched over the trap, inscribing notes and stuff, and perhaps is also deaf in addition to being hoarse, because he doesn't do anything at first. But once you've left the room, he realizes and hustles to catch up. He's just a little bit behind. Zoth, you emerge to see a very dusty lobby. And there is a secret door, but behind it is just like a pile of rubble and dirt. There's not like a room over there or anything. You can see Fox and Jeb are still standing there yelling to each other, and Fox has these two really long cylindrical things sticking off of his bedroll.
I'm gonna lean up to Jeb's ear. All right, Jeb, can you hear me?
What?
All right,
I lean closer. I get like really close. Like my furry ears are like in his mouth. What?
Can you hear me?
Just sign. Just. I just point. Big boom. Big boom. Ears. No work.
Jeb, roll a d4.
3.
All right, that's how many minutes of real life time it takes for your ears to stop ringing.
Amazing.
I don't have a timer for it though, so you'll have to just
I'll
watch
leave an
it.
eye on it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go back.
Yes. We should go back.
Right behind you,
Just
Softgug
walking
and Garlel are just standing there listening to you yell to each other.
Zob?
What happened, guys?
All right, so we found this cool room, and look what I found. It's the thing that the Green Squad people were using against us. It's broken, but I think maybe Owlin and Jeb here can fix it. Right, Jeb?
Why are you shouting, man?
On his head. It was on his head.
What?
Am I shouting?
Bump.
You both are.
I can't even hear myself when I'm talking. Like, am I whispering right now?
Yeah, he shoved me out of the way when the thing went off. He was shoving.
Yeah, no, we went and we found some cool stuff, and then we found a secret door, and then I found another secret door, and another, and then there was a bomb, and it was a red team, and they shot at us. The shot came first, and then the bomb, and it was a lot happening, and we should probably leave.
Fox, you should tell him about the bomb, the big thing that went off. Like, that's why we can't hear.
What? What'd you say,
Hey, Garlel.
Yeah.
Did you know about the rod thing making this place float?
He nods.
Are you talking about the snipers,
Did you
Jeff?
take it?
No. He shrugs,
Somebody
trying to
took it.
convey
Really
to you,
good.
I don't know who took it, but I do know it's been taken.
I
We
think
should
the
find
snipers
it.
are cool too.
He nods.
I don't like tuna.
But we should move on to the rod. Garlyle, did you know about the sabotage? Somebody stole the rod.
Garlel nods very patiently. You're right.
Jeb,
Not sure why he ate
it.
I don't know why you ate it. I didn't tell you to.
Oh yeah, that was an exit, by the way. But now we gotta go up.
Yeah, they were spider walking on the ceiling, and I said it would be really cool if you had one of those ciphers too.
Yeah, I know it's cool I have a sniper rifle, but we need to move on. We have bigger things going on.
Yeah, I know. But why is it important that Garlel was bigger before? I think it's easier for him to walk through here when he's small.
What? No, we don't have time to sit down and eat. We gotta.
I mean, if you think
move.
we should, we can sit down and eat.
Why is that the one that you understand? Garlel says, looking at you frustrated.
Because my 3 minutes is up and my ears are stopping ringing. Was I yelling?
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you?
Sorry.
I wasn't yelling, right?
No, you were.
Well, now that we've got all that cleared up,
Yeah, I think
It sounds
we
like
went
you
over
were
everything,
attacked
right?
by someone.
Yeah, but didn't you hear
Yeah.
us?
Who was out there? I didn't see anything. Like you just like we went through in the door and you yelled and yoinked me away and we were kind of out of there.
It was the red people. The red squad.
Oh, red people. Oh.
Yeah, no.
I was like, we haven't met any red people.
Not
Red
yet.
squad. And they shot at me. And then I heard them like just throw it down there, and I heard the dunk dunk dunk, and that's when I was like, we gotta go.
You encountered these people before?
They were the ones who were keeping us from getting to you sooner.
So
Yeah,
some of the
literally like
security
an hour
forces
ago.
lived.
Yes, we did not eliminate them per se. We just,
They ran like cowards.
yeah.
That's too bad.
We survived.
Apparently, are they still here, Fox?
I mean, they blew up the only exit that's from there, so I'm assuming. I mean, they might still be. I doubt. Would they be waiting for us? I feel like they really wanted to kill us. They would have came back down.
This seems like a retreat to wait for reinforcements to me.
So we should all leave.
Wait, did any of them
Yeah.
go up the way we came from?
They went out the roof of that one of the artificer room. There was like a hole in the roof or something, or a hole out that they went out that way.
All right, because if I'm gonna start looking for
We
traps.
should go back out the way we came in through the vent. They're probably not going to be aware of that vent. Like Alan was the only one that knew about it.
That's true, but still, we have
Our
to go through
cipher truck
runes.
is sitting out there.
Yeah, we don't want them to get a hold of that.
Our cipher truck. Immediately, Fox starts like running. I'm gonna roll at disadvantage for checking for traps as I just run, and I got a 8. As I just try to book it the way we came from.
It's like Battleship A8 for traps. Okay, so you are running upwards. Are the rest of you following him, or is he going off on his own and then you're like walking casually?
I'll follow.
Okay. Garlel
I will casually walk at Garlel's pace.
Yeah,
since
Garlel's
he's
not
kinda,
strong
like,
enough to
worn
run.
out.
So the two of you are walking,
Yeah.
the two of you are running. Zoth, you're a little bit behind Zoth behind Fox because he had got kind of a head start on you when he panicked and took off.
Yeah.
But you're running the same pace as each other. Fox, you make it the whole way through the room where all the artifice rooms and stuff like that are, the work rooms. You're through that part. You climb, you scrabble over all the debris, whatever. You go through into the cafeteria, and you climb over bits and pieces of the cafeteria, and you run into the storage room, which remember is also the barracks. There's a central spire that are the sleeping quarters, and then around the outside of it is the storage area. Just like the workrooms, there's a central spire of experiment chambers, and then around that is the workrooms. So as you run into that room, you see a little pillow like just nestled into one of the shattered windows of the barracks. And as you see the pillow, you hear a voice in the back of your head go, there, it's only a nightmare, little one. It can't hurt you here. And then it manifests an echo of the thing you're most afraid of as you sprint through. So whatever Fox is most afraid of, all of a sudden the whole world around you disappears and you are running straight towards that thing.
I literally just got shot straight up in the air. Spiders are literally flying spiders are coming after me.
Got it.
Yeah.
You feel the spiders crawling over you, but what's actually happened and what Zothkug can see is that he's jumped into the air, fallen flat on his face onto some of the sharper rubble, and is now writhing and sliding down a hill of rubble, trying to stop. Fox, you take...
Let's kill Fox again. Let's kill Fox again.
Yes, Jeb?
I just want to know if a flying spider is like an 8-legged spider with wings, or does it have 8 little wings instead of legs?
That's a good
It's very
question.
important. Yeah,
a great question,
I think
yeah.
we need to stop right now and discuss this.
Fox, you take...
Well, I mean, Fox, what are you afraid of?
Fox,
Yeah,
you take
like,
9 points of psychic damage before the nightmare finally wears off at the bottom of the hill.
Okay.
Are you
you
dead
negative
again?
1 again?
I'm not, no. I'm not dead.
Zothkug, as you approach into the room and obviously are stunned to see Fox falling, as you walk towards him, you see the same pillow and you hear the same voice in the back of your head. There, it's only a nightmare, little one. It can't hurt you here. But since you're taking your time a little bit more, you have 30 seconds.
Could I back away from the sound or like go around it?
Yeah, you can back away from it. As you step back from it, the voice gets softer and then eventually disappears from your mind. And you kind of give the pillow like a wide berth as you walk towards Fox. And you make it over to him.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's
try and shake him.
back now. He's like,
Okay.
He's back now. He's just laying on the ground. He's got a bunch of little tiny cuts on him.
Fox, man, are you okay?
I don't want to talk about it.
What happened?
I literally just said I don't want to talk about it.
You gotta let these out, man. You can't bottle them up.
You know what needs to be let out?
What?
Us out of this place so we can get to the cipher truck.
All right, man. Get on up, and Zoth will just kind of heft you up.
As Garlel and Jeb walk into the room, Garlel goes, "Still, would be a shame not to find anything cool in this room."
That's what I'm thinking.
Starts looking
Me
around.
and Garlel are on the same wavelength.
I mean, it's probably mostly broken, but
On one hand, the cipher truck, but on the other hand,
I'm already looking.
roll your investigation and your arcana, please.
Oh, I rolled an 18 and a 14, so that's 27 and 20.
Nice.
27 arcana, 20 investigation.
Very nice. You find 2 potions of greater healing. And you find a scroll. It's attached to a clipboard. And on the clipboard, it just says storeroom manager, like up at the top of it, like it's labeled for the storeroom manager. And it's a scroll of locate object.
That's funny. That's the spell I just took.
Really?
The 2nd level spell that
Nice.
Garlel. That's the 2nd level spell I chose.
That's awesome. Fox, are you searching? What are you doing?
I'm a little I'm limping. I'm in no condition to fight off anything at the Cybertruck, and everybody else is searching, so I think my decision's made for me.
Zoth will press on to the cipher truck.
Okay.
I'm gonna search with a.
I mean, you guys can keep going. I mean, Garlel's going to walk as slow as he's going to walk, so I was like...
No, I should. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, if they already at the cipher truck, we kind of already too late. And
I mean, it's locked.
yeah, but what if they burn it? Can it burn? Or is it magical against burning?
I mean, it's magical, but I don't know if it's against burning.
What's a cipher truck?
Oh, I have a treat for you as soon as I can stop limping.
No, you already ate the treat for you. Speaking of which, Garlel, did you keep candy around here? Because this guy over here ate something off the ground.
No, but we had a
Hey.
couple Imber who liked to, build little artificing creatures and stuff that dispensed candy. In fact, I think that gentleman I mentioned before, Makar, I think he had a little soldier, like a wind-up soldier, that would spit out little Pez candies.
Oh.
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 What are you doing?
No, wait, No, so, okay, Fox, I respect it. But that means that Makar went out the back door and went past where the rod was. Now you can do the legit oh.
But if he went that way,
He has a room here, too.
we gotta check it.
And he had the book. So we need to check his room on the way out. It was just down the hall from the storage room. We'll have to hit that on the way out.
Yeah,
He had quarters here.
I'll go.
Alan reacting to this.
Alan
Yeah,
is
Alan.
Alan's a little bit shook. He's just wide-eyed. He can't speak, so he's just kind of following along in a little bit of a daze.
He's speechless.
Yeah.
Took the breath right out of him. I guess
You're breathless,
I will,
Alan.
instead of searching around, I'll look for his room.
Okay, well, you were already searching before, right?
Oh, well, yeah,
you can-
I made that roll.
Okay, yeah, what did you roll for that search?
10.
10. Okay. With your 10, you come across a couple broken books. You see one called 1001 Ways to Make Beans Taste Good, and a couple other things like that, like just random books that they had in the storehouse.
Right.
And just as you
I need that.
Just as you turn to go and
need
look
that.
for Makar Pedron's quarters, you hear a voice in the back of your head, not like the arcane echoes that you've been encountering. This is something different. And it says, "You never need to be unarmed again. Take me with you. I can help, really."
Where's the sound coming from?
You okay over there, pup? We're
Uh,
about ready
finally-
to head out.
You finally
think?
spot it tucked under the rubble of a fallen shelf. It is a small object of some kind, no longer than like a wrist. And it seems like there are dappled shadows like rippling around it.
I'm going to slowly reach for it and pick it up.
Yes, take me with you. Yes, take me with you. And you lift it up, and as you lift it up, the shadows that were rippling across the ground suddenly coalesce into the form of a rapier, coming out of what you realize is the hilt of a sword that you've just picked up. And in the back of your head, it says, "You need only restore me to purpose, and I will never leave you unarmed again."
Can I, if
You
I,
okay over there?
I'm gonna think to myself, can you hear me? Can you hear me in my thoughts? I'm thinking really hard.
It does not respond.
Jeb,
Yeah, what's up?
That's not my
Oh,
name.
you found a broken sword.
yeah, it's a little bit more than that.
Can I see the shadows on it?
Yeah, it's like a blade sticking out of it but it's made of shadow. It's just like the blackest black.
Ooh.
I might be holding on to this.
I mean, you're literally holding on to it, but like, what is it?
What's your name? Sword?
What would you like to call me?
No. My name is Jeb.
No, Jeb, you don't understand.
I do understand that I am not a sword.
The sword is talking to me.
That is very scary.
What should I? You know what? I'm gonna have to sit down. This is.
I'm going to deactivate the rod.
You deactivate the rod, and the sword remains.
This is like the coolest thing ever. Did I ever notice? Do I notice that Jeb deactivating the rod?
Probably not, because
I
you don't
wasn't
have
trying
any
to hide
spells
it.
you can cast. I guess, yeah, if he
Yeah.
like makes it obvious. So he turns off the rod, and you know that that's turned off, but the sword is still there and speaking to you.
So just for posterity's sake, when I activate and deactivate the rod, it's kind of like the bolt action on a rifle. It kind of just goes like chink, and it's like active, and then chink.
Cool. Also, the sword is whispering in the back of your mind, Fox. You need only give me a name to restore me to purpose.
Can I think about it? Is this something I need to rush? Does the name matter?
I
Are you-
cannot
you're
fight for
having a
you
very-
until I am named.
It's asking me to name it, and I think
I
I
don't
should.
hear anything.
I feel like I need to keep this. I feel like this is important. I need to name it something
You're
important.
pretty good with like.
I'm not
You're pretty
there.
good with evil and good things. Do you? Oh, you aren't?
You turn
I thought we were
around.
all
He's
together.
what?
Oh,
Zoth,
well,
where did you
butts.
go?
Okay.
Oh, that's
I
right. You
said
went to the
I
truck.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll cut to you in a second.
All right, sword. I know you said you're not allowed to say anything until I name you, but
I can speak. I can't fight until I have a name.
understandable. If I'm gonna think, just give me 5 minutes, okay? This is very sudden. I'm talking
Naming's
to
the
a
hardest
sword.
part, I guess.
I'm talking to a sword.
The shadows that are forming the blade of the sword slowly kind of coalesce down into the hilt again and are now kind of wrapped and dappled up your right forearm. Or whichever arm is your sword arm, I guess.
Whoa. Yeah, right.
They're not like attached to you. They're just like, kind of floating above you. It's not like it feels weird or anything.
Whoa. All right. I gotta think of a name. I need a name.
Garlels kind of looking at it curiously. This must be an artifact someone found. I don't think I even had time to study it.
I don't know. My vocabulary is not the best. I need I don't want to name it something.
Okay, so you could do something off of dark. You could do something off of shadow. Umbral. You could do like Swordy McSwordface. You could do like something off of rapier, slashy, pokey. I don't know. I'm realizing I'm probably not really good with names either.
It will be
Knight.
Shadow Walker.
Owlin's like waving his hands trying to give you suggestions, but forgot his paper, so he can't contribute to the discussion. Shadow Walker.
I'll name it Shadow Walker.
Texas Ranger.
It is a fitting name. And the sword again coalesces back into a blade. You get the feeling that you have in some way just attuned yourself to this item.
Ooh, tingly.
As you have attuned yourself to it, you're now aware of sorta how it works.
Sorta.
Well,
Sorta.
Knowledge floods into my head.
It's not quite like that. But you're starting
like shadow
to
flows
understand
through your
better,
veins.
and maybe the sword itself is explaining to you what's going on here. But mechanically speaking, the sword deals 2d8 psychic damage on a hit. It has the finesse, light, and thrown properties, so you can throw it at a range of 20 feet or at disadvantage at a range of 60 feet. And in addition, when you use the sword to attack a target that is in dim light or darkness, you make the attack roll with advantage. If you drop the weapon or throw it, it dissipates into shadow at the end of the turn. Thereafter, it will appear clipped to your hip or in the sheath or however you normally store it at the beginning. Like there's a 1 round gap and then it appears back on your person.
Okay, so that 2d8, is that on top of like the physical damage it might do, or is that just 2d8?
That's its only damage.
Okay. 2d8 and 60 feet max, 20 feet without disadvantage.
Yep.
Finesse, light, thrown, and advantage in general, or only with throwing for dim and dark?
Advantage when you use the sword to attack a target in dim light or darkness.
Okay.
So those are the only criteria.
Even dark.
And this is called a shadow blade.
That's pretty cool.
Jeb, I'm realizing the potential of this thing.
I have one question for you.
Yes.
Do you want me to tell Zoth that you and him are breaking up now? That you have like a new buddy?
As you ask that question, and speaking of Zoth, we're going to clear the 6 die in the tension pool and check in with Zoth out by the cipher truck. So, wow, 6 dice and no complications.
What?
We check in at the cipher truck.
How
Zoth, you
lucky.
make it back to the widened vent that you entered the tower through, and you climb up some rubble. You're sort of like not quite on your belly, but like sort of scampering up on hands and knees just because of the angle, and you poke your
real
head.
quick.
Yep.
When I get to the top, could I? Is there something to tie a rope to and throw down so Fox doesn't have problem with the heights?
Yeah, sure. You find something to tie a rope to, and you have plenty of pressure and
He's so
whatever.
awful.
So you tie your rope and you throw it down, and then you poke your head out the door, and you it is basically almost dawn. So like earlier there was the moonlight, and it was at such a sharp angle because the moon was setting, so to speak. So you still can't see very much, but the sky is tinged a faint blue. And you look down upon the cipher truck where you left it locked, secure, and safe. And things are not good. The ground around the cipher truck has been excavated so that it is wheels deep in the dirt, and it is covered in webbing of some kind. On the other side of the truck itself, there is a giant spider that is sitting there picking at the door, trying to use its little spindly spider legs to lockpick your door. And on the other, so this is long ways that you're looking at it. So that's basically like the driver's side window it's picking at. At the back door, you see the lone remaining member of Red Squad who hasn't left yet seems to be fiddling with the door in some way. And before you interact with them, they have finished in whatever way what they were doing. And they leave away from you. So the direction you're looking towards the northern wilds. They walk a little ways, and then they swing themselves up onto some kind of invisible mount, and it rides off.
But he wasn't successful in breaking in.
He was not successful in breaking in. The spider is still there picking at the doors, and the car is still wheels deep, so you're going to have to find a way to get it out.
I'm not worried about getting it out. I'm worried about the spider.
Aren't we
Your
all?
best friend.
I don't have any spell slots, but I do have
Comprehend languages with your helmet.
comprehend languages. Could I try activating it and speaking? Well, that doesn't let me speak to the spider. Just lets me understand it.
And only if it has a language.
Yeah, it could be a spider.
A spider.
It's a spider.
Not a lot of options here.
A super spider.
As you think about what to do, I'm going to add a die to the tension pool.
Yep. I'm
Spiders
going to
in disguise.
first yell back, yell back down. Hey, get out here! Down the hallway, hoping that it echoes enough for them to hear.
It does, and they hear it.
And then I'm going to pull out a crossbow and try and shoot it.
Shoot the spider?
Yes.
Okay. Roll to hit. The spider is going to be far enough away that you're shooting at disadvantage, I think, because crossbows are 120, right?
It's 80 feet for disadvantage and 320 max.
Okay, yeah. So it's out at that, almost at 320, basically.
Okay, cool. Wow, I rolled the same roll both times, and it was a 5, so I got a total of 10.
Okay, so you fire, but your shot goes wide and hits the ground. The spider's little head jerks up to an alert position, and it starts looking around, trying to figure out what the noise near it was, but you're far enough away that it doesn't realize it was a shot projectile. It thinks something's in the ground near it. We cut back down into the tower where you guys are looking for Makar's room. I'll let you know when you hear Zoth's yell. So Jeb and Fox, I guess, whoever's leading that charge, you are going looking for Makar's quarters.
Yep. I'm looking for Makar's room.
Okay.
I'll be following, just kind of investigating, and yeah, I'm having a fun time with the Shadow Walker.
Okay,
Just
so
learning.
Jeb, roll investigation. Fox, roll perception with disadvantage because you're focusing on your sword.
Oof, not good. 10.
15.
Okay, so Fox is able to keep a lookout for other arcane echoes and guide you around strange things. And Jeb, it takes you a little while, but you're able to find Makar's quarters. You stand at the door to them, having finally found the one with his nameplate on it, when you hear Zothkug's voice echo back down into the tower. Guys, get out here!
It's not going to disappear on us, right? It's a room.
I mean, probably not. Do you want, maybe I can just take a look real quick and you could run up to assist?
I don't know if I'm going to climb up that very easily right now.
I've only got a handful of spells. I'm not going to be super useful if I'm honest.
I don't even know if I can.
Let's just go. Let's go. Zoth needs us. Let's go. I don't know why. Why are we talking? That's dumb.
Okay, and you rush off towards Zothkug. Do you go up through the quarters trying to get to the normal rooftop access, or are you going back down and then up your pile of rubble?
I
I'm gonna
don't
go back to the
understand
way
the
we.
difference. Yeah, so I think we
entered.
would go back the way we came in.
Okay.
And I will deactivate the rod when going through the storage room.
Cool.
Well, it's still deactivated, but yeah.
Yeah, so you leave the rod deactivated as you go through the storage room. You climb Fox, you find a helpful rope, which you're able to climb up, and you get to the top just in time to see. We cut back to Zothkug, who's had probably 2 or 3 actions before then. So Zoth, you fired and missed. The spider's looking around. You have 30 seconds. What are you doing?
Firing again.
Okay. You fire another shot. Roll to hit.
I fired, and then I missed, and I shot again, and I missed.
Sorry. 11 plus 5 is 16 on the first roll. 7 plus 5, 12 on the second, so 12.
Okay, with your 12, you're able to hit the spider. It deals... Well, roll damage and tell me what it deals.
It is going to deal 9 damage.
Excellent. So you hit the spider pretty good this time. Now that it's like up and looking around, it's a bigger target. And so you're able to definitely hit it with the crossbow. And you hit it and it like looks down and looks up and it's trying to find you, but it still hasn't identified you. Its little pincers are clicking together. And it rears up onto its back 4 legs, and in all of its bajillion eyes, you can see the moonlight glinting evilly. And then it sprints towards you. So it's taking the dash action to get to the roof of the tower, which is again like 45-degree angle up to you. So it makes it to the base of the tower in this turn with that dash action. What are you doing? You have 30 seconds.
Just shooting again. Is it within 80 feet now?
Yes.
Okay, I will shoot it. Not at disadvantage for a total of 21.
Yep. Its AC is 12, so.
Okay. Minimum 3 damage.
3 damage. Okay. So you hit it, and it mostly seems to enrage it even more as it continues. It now is going to move with its move action up the wall, and then when it gets close enough to you, it's going to take a swipe at you with one of its front legs. That's a 12 to hit.
Miss.
Okay, so it takes a swipe at you, but you duck down, and as you duck down, you see Fox and Jeb are climbing back up towards you. At the base of the rope is Garlel, just waiting for like your cue that it's all clear.
Okay. Could I? So the part going back down the tower, is that like at an angle going down?
Yeah, it's like 45 degrees down.
Okay. Could I do a slide down towards my companions, like slide down it, and then stand up and shoot the crossbow at it?
Oh yeah, like trying to draw it into the tower?
Yeah.
Sure. So you slide down towards your companions, and then you level your crossbow at the window, ready for it to come through. And sure enough, as it rushes through, it triggers your prepared action, and your hit is?
It is 11, so miss.
Okay. Everybody roll initiative. Let's figure out what order we're doing this shindig.
Oof.
Nat 20.
10.
Jeb?
Yeah, my initiative's different now. I think I got an 8. Oh, 8 plus 3. I got an 11.
Okay. So, Fox, it'll be your turn next. Zothkug slides down and shoots back at the spider, but he's still a little bit off balance from the slide, and so it kind of goes wide and dink, bounces off of the rubble near the entryway as a giant spider pokes its head over the thing like your nightmare from before, but this time real, with its little pincers clacking, and it starts to crawl into the area. What are you doing?
Throw me. I'm throwing it.
I can fly. Let me fly. And as you pick it up, as you draw the sword to throw it, the shadows begin to coalesce into a more aerodynamic sword. Roll to hit.
Boy.
You have
That's
advantage. It's dark in here.
Oh. Got him. That's a nat 20 on the advantage roll.
Nice. Roll to confirm it.
Yep. That's a nat 1.
Okay, so it's just a hit.
Just a hit.
You hit it. Roll your damage.
Yeah. All right.
You should have called him.
And 4 plus 8 is 12. And there's no modifiers on that, right?
Well, it's a ranged attack, so your dex.
Right, my dex.
And your proficiency bonus.
Yep.
Not to damage, I thought.
Oh, not to damage. I'm sorry.
15?
Okay. 15 points of damage as you throw the sword, and it impales itself like directly in between its like mandibles. Just slides in there, and the spider rears up, and it kind of shrieks a little bit, and then it retreats back down the outside edge of the tower. And after about 12 seconds, you suddenly feel like an extra weight at your hip, and you look down, and sure enough, the hilt of Shadow Master is there. Is that what you called it? Shadow Walker.
Shadow Walker.
Yeah, the hilt of Shadow Walker is there, and the shadows are now kind of playing strangely around like the sheath that it's in.
Oh, okay. You just I'm getting that.
It was dope.
Oh yeah, that was you had it.
Who are you talking to?
Thank you for restoring me to purpose.
Oh, thank you for did we kill? We didn't kill it, but thank you for rejecting whatever that came through there.
Has Fox gone mad?
No, he got a magic sword that he talks to now.
I'm gonna go up to the top and peek my head out.
You see the cipher truck wheels deep in the ground, like it's basically been dug in, and the spider itself is scampering off into the distance, like it's chosen to live another day.
I need to inform you guys that one of Red Team members was here, and then he got on an invisible mount and rode off, presumably to come back. So we should peace out before he comes back.
We need to check Makar's room to see if there's anything about that rod or that book in there.
I am
As
not
you turn around, Owlin, who went into Makar's room while you were doing this fight, walks back out of at the bottom of the tower, and he's like just walking really slowly with something in his hands that you can't see. And then he looks up at you, and he holds it up, and it's a strip of fabric, and on it is the rod breaking over an anvil sigil. And on that note, tonight's episode of the Winged Badger Gaming Winged Badger Tavern podcast comes to a close. Thanks for hanging out with us, chat. We hope you've had a great time. We sure have. And we will see you next Monday.
Josh.
Yep.
We need to record intros.
Okay, go ahead.
We
and
need to record
for this
outros.
Yeah, outros. Who
Outros.
are you? Who are you all? Let's just do some intros, but we're gonna pretend that we did them right at the beginning. You ready? Let's start with Fox.
Hello. I am Fox, played by the human Matt. I am a changeling rogue, and I will probably do something cool, find some interesting stuff. I don't know, maybe win a little. Who knows? I mean, it's not like this is the beginning. We don't know yet.
Hey, I'm Wash. I play Jebediah Peppermint the Gun Wizard, and this is not the end of the episode.
Hey, I'm Trevor. I play Zothka Kibub, the orc cleric who is just vibing right now.
Hey, I'm Josh. I'm the Winged Badger Game Master, and this is totally the end of the episode. So from all of us here at Winged Badger Gaming, GG's and GN.
Well, you and me, the end of the video, kind of awkward, kind of waiting for you to subscribe and all that. I'm just gonna head out.